We're back. Is that a new one? Because we always try to...
I thought it's and we're back.
But usually it's like, hey guys, welcome to Stormwater Creek, which has been about 150 times now.
Yeah. That's my MO.
I've done.
It's fine, but
it's really
that's
weird.
Mix it up, I try to throw out the like, yo, what it do? How y'all doing? Stormwater Creek in the house.
There it is.
Yeah. Marketing toward the children now.
We start doing the NPR.
And the TikTok.
Welcome back to Stormwater Creek Podcast, live from Trophy Club,
the
Texas.
NPR.
We're getting ready for bed.
The NPR.
That's the NPR one, yeah. Public radio.
Could fire up a gator tail.
Yeah.
Intro.
Let's go ahead and
We can get some audio
Bang
on
on the rev limiter.
100% edited in. We can do that. We can definitely do that for the outro.
You got to do it like
That'd be cool. You can do that, right?
Well, I'll get in the back and rev it up as we drive off so it fades away. Wake all the neighbors up.
It's all right.
They don't care. The one right next to us here, he's a hunter. He gets it.
Yeah.
Right back into it.
He run out with a heart on.
Yeah,
right?
his neck was, when I pulled up, he was in his garage, his neck was craning, he was looking.
90% of the time, if we're on Thursdays when we're out doing stuff in the driveway, or we did a big decoy clean the other night, he's like, what are you boys doing? Y'all getting ready? I'm like, yeah, man. And he'll shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's good people.
I'm not allowed to work on my boat, so I have to bring it over here for Dad to...
What do you clean your decoy with?
A brush.
Just
we've had this debate about clean decoys
No,
for a
I mean,
while.
we honestly...
Dawn dish soap,
we don't
I think, is
overthink
what we
it.
use, right?
Well, they say don't use soap because
use
it puts
water.
a UV
A sheen.
shine on it.
water.
We use water and a brush.
Oh, that's right.
They talk
Just to
about
knock the mud
waterfowl
off.
being able to see
That-
UV reflection.
Okay.
So I've always been afraid to even go to the power washer at the.
Oh, we're not that
It was
close.
kind of a
either.
fruitless thing. Like we washed them once, and now they're just disgusting.
No, just the TLR.
It's true.
I've killed ducks
Okay.
over
Yeah.
muddy decoys.
They say my ducks don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first time. This is the
Yeah,
first time we've
exactly.
cleaned decoys
Because
ever.
they were bad.
Well,
and then, we've got some... Abe's got some real nice flocked heads. We've got a bunch of Academy decoys. We've got a bunch we've inherited. Like,
It was less of a
Man, I
cleaning
think-
we found.
adventure and more of a...
It was inventory.
What do we have?
half of it was an organization
Yeah.
project versus and a cleaning. Because I swear to God, we've got 10 dozen right now.
Oh, they need it every now and then. I mean, you got to do
Let's
something.
get
right.
into that. Because
Yeah.
we haven't ran that many before. Ever.
10 dozen?
Ever.
Yeah.
At once?
Ever.
I think what's the most we've run? Maybe close to 4 dozen.
We throw a fucking army.
So, okay.
Two
Depends on the time of the year.
Time out. Okay,
We'll do it
let's,
just for the
let's
hell of
introduce
it.
our guest
Yeah,
real
let's
quick.
back this up.
Let's
Let's
let the people know what's going on.
But I have questions. So, this week, we're excited. We've had tacos. We've had a couple of beers. We've got the guys from... So it's not North Texas mud boats anymore. It's just Texas mud boats.
We had
right?
we were forced to change it as the group grew. It started off as North Texas mud
People
boats,
felt unincluded.
and then we started having these events, and they would get bigger and bigger. We had guys from Idaho, Florida, Mississippi,
Kentucky.
Kentucky,
Boys from Kentucky drove down. Great Boys.
Kansas, guys from Kansas, and so we officially made the very tough decision after months of debate to change the name to Texas mud boats. So just a little more
outgrew
broad.
our shoes, and
So
we started having
Texas
people.
mud boats.
That's rad.
Yeah.
So y'all introduce yourselves.
So I'm Nick Hawk, and
I'm Cody Tomplate. We've been. We actually took our hunter safety course together when we were 12 years old,
so
and we've been hunting together ever since.
Y'all grew up here in North Texas?
grew up in Salina.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. So we hunted the local ground around there back when you could, and just kind of always been hunting buddies. And then that kind of grew into us. At the time, we were so broke, we split our first duck boat.
Out of Muskogee, Oklahoma.
We bought it. Oh, that's
on
a story.
Thursday night.
Yeah, we've been looking for months.
Yeah, we've been
What
talking
year
about
was
it.
this?
Oh man.
10.
Let's see. No, that was probably 2016. No, you're
No, it's-
because
I
your
think it was
boat's
10.
It was probably like 2014-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not that long ago.
No, not that long. But I mean,
Okay.
Cody had had a long tail before that, and always told me, he's like, dude, we gotta get a boat.
Yeah, we ran two longtails. Me and my brother, we ran two longtails, kind of growing up, and got Nick into doing some duck hunting.
Wasn't
I'm
hard.
going to tell you, I got Nick into duck hunting, and it went from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Hi.
I loved
That's
it.
what's up.
That's
I'm right there with you.
I don't half-ass anything.
And
I'm right there with you.
I
Well,
think
you're talking to the group for that.
I think I took him on a teal hunt. First hunt ever. I don't think we saw a bird.
We walked
But
in.
Yeah, that was all it needed. And we wasn't walking in again.
I was a deer hunter though forever.
Yeah.
And I always told Cody, I was like,
That's
man,
all
I was like,
I
I
hear.
can't get out of the deer stand and go kill ducks. Like, it's cold, it's wet. Like, I like my deer stand. I had at the time had family property. It was just easy, good hunting. And he finally taught me in doing a public hunt with him, man. And I got bit by the bug at least 4 times that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, and we didn't see a damn duck. I just liked the whole idea of what we were doing.
Yeah.
I actually so
yes.
that teal hunt we didn't see anything. I remember the first hunt where he got to see the green and the red legs stick out and just cupped up. And I think we only shot.
That sells it no matter.
Oh, that was
what.
it.
Done.
It was
Over
freezing
with.
cold. Freezing cold. Walk in public spot. We smacked a couple birds, and that was where it was game over.
Yeah.
And
That's legal
That's
heroin.
100% the story with Abe. Also,
Yep.
I started duck hunting. Jordan started duck hunting. Then Abe gets involved, and he's like, "I don't know, man. I like my deer stands. I like my tree stands." Like,
And that was
dude,
one of
we
the big
get it.
things here.
And
We were like, "You guys duck hunt, I'll deer
like
hunt,"
I'm low.
and
Yeah, that was
we'll do
that was
good.
supposed to be what this podcast was about. We had a deer hunter, we had 2 duck hunters, and I deer hunt a little bit, so like I could kind of bounce back and forth. But I would love duck hunting, and then like we started getting Abe involved, and then all of a sudden we noticed that like deer hunting it wasn't gone, but it was like as soon as duck hunting wasn't there, he was deer hunting. As soon as duck hunting came back, we were all duck hunting. Like it was like
Well, that's
Yeah,
what,
well,
when
we
I got
took-
with you guys, I was fishing all the damn time. I was pond hopping. We have this farm that we go to, and I'm like, "Can we go to the farm? I want to fish the pond." And they're like, "Well, let's go shoot pigs." And I'm like, "No, I want to fish." And then I think after one season with you guys and some public hunting, it's like, all right, cool. I don't think I've really fished at all this year. I don't think my poles came out of the garage twice because I went on some fishing trips. Other than that, though, I haven't done shit.
just like
Like,
save
it's-
that rest because it's coming.
I
Yeah,
mean, and
I'm
like-
gonna hang out now because
Drinking beer
I'm
in
not
this
gonna
blind
sleep
with
when it comes to
thermal
fall.
is way cooler than fishing. Changing my mind.
Well, like the whole,
Change
I
my
think
mind.
too, like we always joke, it's like, and obviously we're from Texas, so a little partial, but I think the Texas land public duck hunter is some of the most hardcore, gritty hunting you can do. We're the last ones to get the ducks. They've seen every spread coming down.
Smart. Exactly.
They've been
heard all the
shot at a
calls.
million
What does
times.
Dr. Duck say? Ivy League?
Yeah.
Ivy League.
And so I think if you can kill ducks on public in Texas, that's saying a lot. And because it's a grind. I mean, I got buddies up north, and they definitely are great hunters. But on the same note, like, dude, they're right in the middle of ducks that haven't been shot. And so I think it definitely takes a special breed of somebody to be
it's a commitment.
Texas.
you
public
gotta
duck
commit
hunter.
to the
Yeah.
Texas,
It's a big commitment.
And I think most
North Texas.
the hardest thing too is just the commitment to go out there and struggle.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's like, oh, they're ready to get up, but then you go see 3 birds, and then they're like,
What am
oh,
I
this
doing?
sucks. Yeah, why
It's
am I here?
changed so
and
much
to do
through
it
the
again
years.
and again
Yeah, just
after
like-
seeing 3 birds, that's the commitment.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh man, we shot we'll shoot 3 or 4 birds, and people are like, oh, that sucks. And I'm like,
That's a win.
It's been
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
been
that's a win
worse.
for me.
getting addicted to the chess game instead of playing checkers.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
and the learning, man.
Right, exactly,
Like,
man. Like
yeah,
you see
just-
it and you're like, all right, we did this right, but we also
did
did
this
this way
wrong.
wrong.
And then,
We
God forbid, you talk about the competitive aspect of it, of a million other boats being at the boat ramp, and race
Yeah.
into the hole.
Oh,
And
God.
I mean, that's to me kind of the fun part about these boats is, I mean, who has
game
got the
is-
fastest boat, who can get to the hole the quickest, and that makes it fun.
It's a game changer.
Oh, I was gonna
having
say
your
that.
boat and
Yeah.
me trying to run my boat and like having Abe's, like just being able to get to spots a lot faster and to spots that we can't get to.
They're running John boats with longtails.
right.
1232s.
So, we probably already talked about
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
So we got some
Prior.
narrow. It's basically like a big kayak.
Dude, you get in that.
Yeah, that's where it starts. I mean,
yeah,
because they'll get you
absolutely.
anywhere.
No,
Those
it's-
longtails, you can dig them out. You can
Yep.
move them around.
Pick
you
it up
can,
and move
yeah.
it.
I mean, that's
Picking
the
up my
best part about-
1860 and moving it.
Watch out for them white
Yeah.
caps, though. I mean,
Oh,
if you-
yeah.
that's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
When the wind's up, if we're gonna go on main water, then I'm just no, we're not taking this boat. We'll take his and just
Still.
But just to have an extra boat is so nice when we've got 5 or 6
People want to
people
hunt
going
with
out,
you.
and you're
I'll
like,
take
all right.
people. He takes gear.
So do y'all run like Predator motors, or what kind of motors? do you run?
Duramax.
Duramax,
16
okay.
horsepower. It's oversized for the boat, and
It'll
so I
be
have to
max.
run 90 pounds of plate weight in the front of my boat to keep the
Wow.
to keep it
That's-
balanced
that's
out.
90
gnarly.
pounds over Jordan.
Yeah,
One of
or
the two.
Jordan, one of the 2. Yeah. So, but
Just
I
a-
modify. I put a grab bar on it. I went up to a welding shop and had them weld on 2 aluminum tubes, and I slide a stand up bar in it, and then I've got a. What else did I put on there? I put a Z-bent handle so I can stand up
It's
in
got
it.
better
but-
angle on it. You put a
Which makes it a little
cavitation
bit
plate,
easier.
which is a
Yeah.
game changer.
Yep.
Yeah.
A
And
bigger
it's for having to
prop.
fight that thing.
Yeah.
It's still like riding on the back of a motorcycle though. Like I'll ride with him, and like you gotta like you got to know how to ride. in that
Oh,
boat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you move a little bit, the boat
Everybody
moves. Like,
moves.
I was gonna say on the
Everybody
longtails,
moves.
taking a left turn can be tough,
oh
Yeah, I mean, trying to turn it all
yeah.
is just like,
especially
yeah,
depending on
just-
how your handle's set up. I mean,
That's why I've got it where I can kind of lean forward and spin around,
Yeah.
but then you got to kind of hand it off, and the cavitation plates really made that a huge difference because I'm no longer fighting it up and down, or it's just I set that thing and I can take my hand off of it, and it just
Yeah,
We got a joke in the club that depends on how big a girl you're dating, depends
Yeah.
on where you shape the weight in the boat.
absolutely.
oh my gosh. So-
Some of those boats with the big girls, you got to move that weight
Oh,
around.
you
you start telling them move forward,
moving-
move front, move back. Like
Sit on the cooler.
Yeah, when we've taken a bunch of people out in my boat, like far too many with gear, far too many. It's like, all right, here's this, like somebody will move. I'm like, sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like you sit here, you sit there. Lauren, my wife, who's small, I'm like, you sit on the bow, like,
Yeah.
and nobody move. Like everybody sits still.
Stop
Weight,
Like,
weight distribution is a big thing.
people don't understand until they're trying to run that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
just
Fight
sit
that.
still.
You'll fight that motor all day if the weight's
Oh.
off.
Oh,
If
tiller
you get it
torque's
just
the
right
worst.
though.
Oh,
I mean,
the
it's-
coast. We went down to the coast to redfish and duck hunt with friends of ours late last season.
No, like early.
It was early.
It was early.
It was
It
was your
early.
It was
birthday.
September.
Sorry.
Yeah,
it
it was still-
September.
It was the end of teal.
End of teal. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And we thought, we'll just take my boat. It's dead flat bottom. Nothing on it. And some wind picked up one day. And I fought it all day. And by the end of the day, sticking with my thigh, it looked like you glued a half a football. And I mean, we had 2.5 foot rollers.
Yeah.
So it was just bang, bang. And we had to run on a bridge like that, which was
three of us in the
terrifying.
boat. That was it.
He had
'cause
to thread the needle.
he
Like,
got
it
to
was-
the-
it was-
in
it
2
was-
foot rollers and a
You just
flat
gotta
bottom.
send
Down
it.
in Rockport,
I just
the
hammered it.
small
That's where we
short
gotta go.
bridges,
Oh, yeah.
He had to go between the pylons on those bridges, and it was.
That was stressful for me.
like I said before, we were
I was
talking
like,
about it before, I
if we
think,
get
with
pushed
you.
hard, we're kind of fucked.
I was
Yeah.
watching. I was just like, oh.
I know where the life vests
get
are.
skinny. Get skinny.
I think several guys in our club have kissed a few cypress trees out at Lake Caddo before.
Oh, I'm
and
not
they're
scared of kissing trees.
Very, very,
Kissing-
very unforgiving.
Square tube steel.
Tree.
Yeah.
I've hit a lot of. We've hit trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. That's you
That
you
to
get
me
it.
is the
You
most
guys get
concerning
it.
Oh, yeah.
thing in
You
But
see
a
our push
concrete
pole.
pylon and 2 foot rollers.
Well, like when we do our mud runs and stuff, you've got, at our big run, 200, 300 boats out there. And although the water's glass at Caddo and most of the lakes, 2-3 feet deep, you get a lot of boat wake. And those flat bottoms or V bottoms, they tend to grab that wake and push you. And so it really gets kind of touch and go.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the biggest things that him and I lose sleep over at night when we host these runs and these get-togethers is like, we just
Everybody
want
be
to
cool.
be safe,
Yeah.
and you get
Totally.
every group's going to have a few yahoos that go out and do stuff, but I mean, people can get seriously hurt, and you really got to be careful.
Yeah, everybody wants to. They want to be first, right?
Yeah.
And
Ain't first or
cool.
last.
Everyone wants to be cool and fast
so-
and first.
Yeah.
If you're just fast enough that you're passing the guy in front of you, but you can't fully pass him,
Yeah.
they start throwing wakes all over the place. And the way that our boats they'll grab a wake, they'll catch another wake, and next thing you know, it can be
Pitching
sending you
back.
right back across into another boat, into a tree, whatever might be there. And that's where sometimes the best thing to do, and actually I enjoy it, just line up
Absolutely.
and cruise.
Right behind.
Line up and
Totally.
cruise and just enjoy the ride.
That's what I've gotten really good at with him is just when we're trying to get turned around some ways, then that can be a little sketchy, especially because he can turn that big 18-foot boat
Yeah.
in a dime, and I'm like, move out of the way, move out of the way, move out of the way, I can't get over.
Oh, I hit the
Yeah,
I hit the bank. I gotta
hit the
push
bank.
off the
Yeah, I
bank a
gotta
little
push the
bit.
bank.
Ain't nothing
So-
wrong for on the bank.
No, but then you like you
Bounce
said,
off of it.
I think a
Done
biggest
that.
thing too.
Yeah,
is
just run,
made a
just
huge
kind of
difference
bounce
is
off
just-
of it. Absolutely.
It's a berm.
We
That's,
ran Grapevine 235 when the water was high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got real sketchy at the end.
We've ran
We made
Lake
it.
Louisville to Pilot Point.
Really?
Yeah.
You made-
Through
Yes.
not
Hell
Pilot
yeah.
Point, up past Prosper.
Up,
shit.
Pilot Point would be
Oh,
up
it
the,
would've
on the
kept
other side.
going.
like around
Yeah.
the dope.
Sorry, I was
ramp
thinking
and
Ray
up.
Roberts.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well,
Under-
no, you were
under-
right because
under
we go
380.
that far, but it gets skinny, and when
It
you're
gets real
running,
skinny.
when you're running 5-10 boats, and like I said, you're
Pushing
running
water out.
You're pushing water,
Yeah.
and those their wakes coming off of the banks. There's been plenty of times where you get caught up in that wake just right, and it slams somebody into the bank.
Took
And
my
you just-
headlight out like that recently.
Yeah.
off my boat.
I mean, I've been in a gator roll. That's
A
what
gator
we call
roll.
'em.
We call it gator rolls.
That's what we
Yeah.
call him. He coming around the turn. I was behind him. He made the turn. I was following, and just the way that the weight came off, the motor just shot left.
That tiller handle
The tiller
just, like,
handle
left.
shot
Yank
left.
it out of your hand.
Well, I lost the grip of the grab bar, and I was sitting down at the time. It was the only thing that saved me. I fell back into the motor, and I remember just wedging my feet up against the thing and just holding myself in, and all I had was a full throttle, and I was just sitting there. Bam,
And I was
bam,
behind
bam.
them, and I was thinking to myself, the tiller handle has left the chat. You
Yeah,
know, like
exactly.
it just shot.
It was,
you know?
it was so we're talking about the bruises on your leg and everything. We obviously driving the gator tails. We call them gator bites. So
Yeah.
Okay.
we
okay.
Went into the death roll on them. You get gator bit
Always
here and
wear your
there.
kill
It's
switch.
Gotta wear
Gotta
the
wear your
kill
kill
switch.
switch, man. It's especially you get into these built motors, man. It's a safety thing, and everybody,
sure.
it's kind of not as cool to wear a kill switch. You feel like a jet skier or something.
I mean,
but-
No,
No, being
yeah,
safe
there's-
is super cool.
you
That's
got-
the
point
shit.
when
you
you're
gotta
young.
wear it,
Yeah,
man.
like life jackets and
You
stuff.
can
I
put
know-
one on your wrist, and it don't. Nobody'd even know it's there, and
Yeah.
it'll just save your life.
I've
It'll
got
save
one of those
somebody
things.
else.
Like
I've got
we
mine
all,
on my life jacket
Yeah.
because, and I just because it's like I can't if I get thrown out of this thing. My boat's so skinny that if I hit much of anything, I'm thrown out before it. I may lose
Yeah.
it before I can. I'll be thrown before it gets
Yeah.
out of my hand more than anything. And
Yeah,
so,
I don't know if
you
you've ever
see-
seen like the horrible photos and
I was
videos of
about
to
guys
say,
that just falling on the back
dude,
of the
that
boats.
just, like,
it's hard to
that
even
cut
look at.
That's all
Yeah.
it takes.
Difficult.
You see one picture, especially like with the long tails, one picture of that thing running across someone's back, and it's just these perfect marks.
Well,
And it's
Longtails
not
are the
cool.
worst because like they're so much further out. Like at
They're
least with
further out.
like a true surface drive frame, like the prop's a little bit closer in.
You
So
also
God
kinda have to-
forbid.
Yeah, you have to fall in the
It's
right
past
place.
you.
God forbid you
Yeah.
fall. I mean, technically, if they're both moving fast enough, it should be past you by the time you fall out. But like those long tails, I mean, you got
6, 8,
6,
10
8
feet.
Yeah.
feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
10 feet. I'm
And
big
you don't
ones.
know where that prop's going when you lose
No,
control. I mean, it could.
Yeah.
Bull, the guy we till hunt with in Louisiana,
Yeah.
his arm is almost
Really?
useless.
Yeah,
You never
it's-
seen his arm?
It
Never
was
noticed
it was
it.
that way like that when we hunted with him.
I just never noticed.
He got
Yeah.
caught. He got caught in a prop
Oh,
on his
God.
arm,
Outboard.
and he said that he almost lost being able to shoot doing that.
I can't.
Like,
Of course, absolutely.
but if you ever look, he doesn't use that arm. Like it's
I cut my finger in a
usable,
hedge
like,
trimmer this
he
year.
can
and
use
I
it, but
think
not
that-
like
that-
grab.
Oh.
That terrifies me. Ugh.
Not losing anything. We've got a guy in the. We call him Captain Andy.
Oh yeah, Captain Andy. He's
We love Captain Andy. He's the nicest guy too.
one of the original members in the club. He's a certified captain down the coast. He runs hunts and does red fishing and flounder fishing.
Yeah, he
He's
does-
just an
he does it
interesting
all.
guy.
He's
Civil
all
War
over the place.
reenactments.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
got a handlebar mustache that curls.
course he does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
of course
it's
he
it's
does.
so ridiculous. But yeah,
You-
Captain Andy's one
You
of our
get to
favorite
talking
members.
with him. He's just a straight up, stand up, good dude. But he's the one that always comes in before any of our runs, and he'll make a post for us, talking about
Safety
life
talk.
jackets and fire extinguishers and
You
kill
gotta have
cords.
that,
and,
dude.
Oh, exactly.
I've
And,
even thought about like you go to these side by side rallies and sand dunes, and they make everybody have big tall neon flags in the back of their boat. Like
Yeah.
we've almost gotten to that point. Is when you see somebody needs to make a bracket for that when we're talking
Or just,
about it.
or make, okay, so you
that
know
mounts
where,
on the T rail to
or-
where you have a bracket for a flag.
I've thought about this too. You know, you've got where your your running light plugs in. Make one that plugs in the
yeah,
same bracket.
great idea.
A,
But, like-
a fiberglass pole that plugs in the same bracket. You can switch it when it gets to night.
Well, that's why like we still do some riding.
why he's
We do a lot of
attraction,
riding at
folks.
Caddo, but like first couple years that we kind of took over the whole Caddo run. The Caddo runs. I'll start by saying it's been around before Cody and I were even in my boats.
yeah, that was way around. That wasn't us.
It was the
We just
father son that
enjoy
started the deal,
being there.
and then there were some bad accidents over the years, and nobody on Lake Caddo wanted to pull insurance on the whole event, and so we got involved.
We really just
And
promote it.
We promote it, and we've gotten involved. I think this year we're probably going to have to, take an insurance policy out to be safe. But what I'm getting at is, having flags on the boats when we do these poker runs, especially on these lakes where you got cypress trees and you can't see. I mean, it really will save your ass because. When you get that many boats together, or somebody's lights are out or whatever the case
Just
may
coming
be.
around turns. I mean, have y'all ever been on Caddo?
How many
I know.
boats
there's-
y'all run on Caddo? Y'all were talking about it
It's
earlier.
hard to
I
even
was-
count because the weekend, A, is such a blur because everybody's
Yeah.
boozing. But then B,
There's so many groups.
that lake's so big. So history on Caddo, it's the only natural lake in Texas.
Yes.
It's got a lot of duck history. The duck hunting, depending on who you ask, hasn't been as good over the last couple of years. That's a whole different topic.
Gator issue.
I'll say this: it's
Gate-
the most well-known
The most well-known.
natural
and,
lake in Texas.
Yep.
And
Next start with the log jam.
It's
back
the
in
only
day.
natural lake.
There's more than Caddo. Caddo just gets the most recognition. I did some research on this.
Really?
And
Okay.
I remember,
All right.
so it happened from a log jam. The loggers used to use that lake to get the logs down. And I think I could be wrong, but doing my research, a log jam happened, it dammed it up. They ended up doing something there, keeping the lake there. But yeah, if you've been there, it's a natural lake now. It's gorgeous. It's got so many cuts running through there.
Yeah.
You got to know your lanes. They're all got the got letters on them, and so once you kind of learn where they go and everything, you're good. But a lot of them can come out. They cross each other, so you just got to pay attention. You know, when you're running through there wide open, and somebody's coming through, you can't hear over the.
Yeah.
I mean, to
these
put
exhaust.
things in perspective, and we'll get to my friend Will Carter here in a minute. He's a very big staple in the mud boat community, but Will's family owns a marina called Johnson's Marina, and that's where we host the big cattle run every year. And it's in a town called Uncertain, Texas.
Yep.
So the story behind it is the people who originally founded the town, they were uncertain of where they were on the map. And so, I mean, that shows you how isolated this area is. I mean, it feels like you're in Jurassic Park. Like, it's that crazy.
Is that place got like a bunch of cabins that you can stay at?
Yeah, it's gotten so with the mud runs coming back every year and getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
They just keep growing. There's more and more Airbnbs. Lodging's always a big thing. So anybody listening to this right now, if you have plans of going to Caddo, as soon as we announce the dates, book your room ASAP because they go quick.
But not till after we book ours first.
Yeah, we always book ours
Wait.
first.
Exactly.
Before we announce the date.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you should.
I did some fishing on Caddo, and we stayed in Uncertain.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's very
Johnson's-
true.
It's
to
the
you.
oldest marina in Texas.
Johnson's
Crazy.
is right there on the river stretch, so yeah, you can't miss it. If you're running right through there, it's going to be the one place. They've got fuel.
Yeah.
They've got the boat docks and everything there. You can post up and have a good time. Everybody meets there. We roll out of there. That's where we do the drag racing out of on Saturday mornings and everything. We'll put that on. And
all the money we raise for the Caddo event every year, we donate to the GCLA, which stands for Greater Caddo Lake Association. And so that basically goes into cleaning up Caddo. Things like they were trying to make a paper mill on Caddo, or make a big production facility. GCLA fought that paper mill and kept it natural. So
That's
I mean,
rad.
to us, like, that's why we do it. I mean, this whole Texas mud boat thing's not a profit deal for it. It's a profit losing thing. Than anything else.
Oh,
But,
welcome to the
but
It's
man, we
100%
just
passion.
we
Yeah.
just
It's
have
fun,
passion
man.
for it,
Yeah.
man.
When it
and-
stops being fun, we stop doing it.
Exactly.
Same boat we're in.
So yeah, we're all about giving back.
Same mud boat.
We do a Lake Louisville run. So if you're local here in Dallas, that's a great run to come out to. Even if you don't have a boat, we've got a Jason Douglas with Delta Waterfowl. He's gracious enough to loan us his backyard. We kind of take that over, and it's right on the water. And
That's awesome.
so all that money goes back to Delta Waterfowl. So we try to, do this to really give back to the duck hunting community as much as we can.
Yeah, I think this past year we talked with Jason. I'm not sure whatever came with it, but putting that money back into like some wood duck boxes or something like that
Yeah.
around the area, just to try to get some, birds coming back through, giving them a
Right.
nesting site, just things like that to try to help,
Yeah.
get those waterfowl numbers up. Obviously, around here with the amount of growth that's just been happening as far as neighborhoods and everything, public land access, huntable waters and everything, they're becoming slim to none.
Yes.
You kind of got to have a boat. So
It's getting that way.
it's getting that way, and I remember back in the day being able to walk 100 yards down to the water and smack a 2-man limit in less than an hour, have a great hunt, have a good time, go home. Now it's a grind. I mean, you got to get out there, you got to find the birds, you got to cover some water.
People are camping out with campfires
it's-
like it's in Stuttgart.
Oh,
We're in North
We
Texas.
ran into that for teal.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
ran into that
Teal
2
season.
years ago.
Teal season we got in early, and some dude's already brushed in, which means
Hey, power
based
to
on
him.
where people launch, like he ran a ways to get where he was going. I'm not gonna just say everything, but that dude got there and just set up for teal. Like, good on you, brother.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all
what I say,
yours.
power to him,
It's all
because
yours.
Should have had a faster boat.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it takes. The problem with that is
That was more of a wake up thing, man.
No, he didn't beat us there. He was done. We didn't come up on him setting up. We came
he
up
was
him.
coming out.
He was brushed in and had cut wood,
Yeah.
cut
Yeah.
brush. He was done when we
Man,
got there.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel
Good on you, brother.
all you guys with lawn tails, we surface drive guys, we kind of chuckle on the inside when we pass
Well,
y'all.
because we've been those guys.
We've been those guys, so it's
We've
like
been-
gator tail ripping,
Yeah,
but
we've
we
been
always
the
feel bad for
ones-
the lawn tail guys because you got to get up earlier because it's gonna take you longer to get
No,
there.
he was surface drive. I'm surface drive.
No, I'm
we
the
ran
lawn
the
tail.
outboard.
Oh, you're a lawn tail guy. Okay,
We ran
Yeah.
the outboard.
We
It was
had
actually it was
let's
our-
go back to the Muskogee story.
Yeah.
That's a whole funny story.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
let's.
finish up, so-
We've been all over the map, which is great.
Yeah.
We love y'all stories. You said you started out like you walked in.
We walked
and
in,
you said,
smacked
I'm
a
in.
couple mallards.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Totally
and
in. So
when
y'all go to buy a boat in Muskogee.
We bought I believe it was a 1556 Grizzly Tracker out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. We drove up after work
Riveted boat.
on a Thursday night. It was a 4-hour drive, whatever. For
I got a
us.
call from Cody. He's like, the guy on Facebook said yes. It was like
5650.
5650.
Yeah.
I still remember that.
It was 50. The only reason I know this 5650 is because we threw something in at the end. He got us
the
for
boat
another
line?
$50. I
Yeah,
was like-
yeah. We
I
asked him
was
for
like,
something and he tacked $50 on.
Yeah, like
It's like,
50 bucks.
whatever.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
whatever. It's $50
Fine.
bucks. We
So-
done drove this far. It's
We drove up there. We put it on. What river
We
is
first,
that?
I was gonna say you got to tell the whole story because the whole thing was a adventure.
Go.
Yes.
I don't know what exactly river it was, but we checked the boat out. These guys were super nice. We chatted with them for a little bit, and like I said, we left after work, so it was late when we got up there.
It's like probably 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
I was
by the
thinking
time
it was
we got
about 9
there.
o'clock by the time we got
was dark
there.
when we got there.
It was
Sure.
dark, and he asked if we wanted to run it real quick, and we're like, well, hell yeah. And so we went and threw it on the river. We took off up and down the river. Boat was running great. Me and Nick are looking at each other just ecstatic. Like, yeah, like
I didn't even
we're-
know how
we're
to
coming
drive
home.
until
Yeah,
we
We're
were
coming
like-
home with this boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we got
And,
a boat
um,
now.
We get back to the boat ramp. Nick and I think have already committed to buying the boat, and we hit a nail or something on the way there. Trailer tire was gone.
Okay, but it's dark and it's
It's-
late and we got to be back for work the next morning, right?
No spare tires.
No spare, so we just kept ripping. And then I'm driving. I go,
No. Hey, we got. Remember, we had to drive back to the guy's house, take a tire off of
no,
another
that's
trailer
right.
he
That's
had,
right. That's right. That's right.
bring it all the way back, and it wasn't necessarily close to his place. So this is adding hours to the whole
You're
deal.
now midnight.
We
You know?
swap-
We swapped the tire out. We get the thing back home to his place, anyways. And now we're looking at the tire, and it's just a nail. And they're like, "Oh, we'll plug it." And they had the tire plugs and
Yep,
everything
yep.
there. We threw them in, like, "Hey, man, we're good to go." We did some more negotiating. We got a beaver tail blind on it that was awesome. That thing, we smacked some birds out of it.
Yeah, beaver tail's a great blind.
And then I'll let Nick take. Actually, I was driving because Nick drove up there, and we're getting back. And I mean, Nick's in Bachelor, he's sleeping. We're coming through Denison, and I don't know if y'all have driven down 75 in Denison, but there's a certain point where you just start bouncing.
Yeah, it's bad.
And Nick wakes up and he's like, "What's that noise?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." And
Nice.
And I go,
You know,
the guy sold us a fucked up trailer or something, Cody. I said, it's making all kinds of noise. I said, I don't know if the bearings out. And then it was so, I mean, it got to be 2, 3 a.m. at this point. And we had
It
work
was.
the next day.
It was.
And we just kept ripping. Like, we didn't stop.
I told him, I was like, "I think it's the road.
It's the road, yeah.
It's the road, man."
There's an orange light following us.
I was like, "It's the road, man." We just kept going. And
We get all the way back, and the tread. I mean, this has been a dry.
We
That
didn't
spare we
even-
put on was like a dry rotted tire, and it was just gone.
But we were
like,
so tired, we didn't even know until the next morning.
Oh,
And-
wow.
blew out our fender on the trailer.
Oh,
and-
it jacked the fender
Yeah.
up. The entire center piece of the tread was just gone. And I'm like, dude, we just drove, 45 minutes or so
Yeah.
on like not even a tire. Like,
the rim.
the
almost.
rim.
On the rim.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure people are passing us. Like, look at these
Yeah.
idiots. Sparks
whatever
flying
that
out.
inner wall.
Sounds
You're like,
redneck
oh,
familiar. I feel like I've heard this story before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abe and I did almost the same thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
When we went and picked up my boat, we started emailing with these guys in Centerville.
Yeah, I know what that is. Yeah.
Like, all right. We're going back and forth. Hell of a deal. This lady's husband trains dogs, and her husband and her son hunted out of this boat. But now they've started training dogs for a bunch of outfitters, so they get invited to hunt, so they don't really use it anymore. She's like, he's gone. I want it gone. Come get it. Done. So I'm like, hey, you want to go to Houston?
Yeah.
Let's go to Houston. I do like a lot of my jobs in Houston, so I'm like, let's go with this boat, drag into Houston, to hang out, bar hop, see a bunch of my buddies for a night, haul ass back to Dallas. Centerville, get out there, give the boat a once over, you start it up, it fires right up, everything's straight. Go Devil.
Go Devil.
Go
Okay.
Devil. Cool, fires up. I mean, past that.
What could go wrong?
Yeah,
What can go
whatever.
wrong?
Yeah, it fires up. It's parked in a barn. Whatever. Let's do this. We hook up, give some ladies some money, title, super nice. We roll out. We get, Centerville to Houston's 2 hours.
We stopped at Bucky's
Hour and a
on the
half.
way.
We stopped
at Bucky's and got boudin, and we were just like,
Boom! Party! Yeah! We got a boat!
Boats and boudin.
And yeah, so we're eating boudin, and all of a sudden, like, something doesn't sound right. And we pull over, and we cooked a hub. I'm not talking like spun a bearing, but welded it to the like new axle or new spindle, one of the two.
Just wobbling back and forth.
Would it even
Beyond that.
Would it spin?
yeah,
It was spinning,
spinning.
but the tire it had gotten so hot the tire was
It was bad.
Popped
in.
out.
They
Yeah.
sent me a picture, and I was like, oh.
And so we whip in this auto zone and we roll in. It's like, all right, guys, we have
We
problems.
first stopped at a truck stop,
just
like
a
a rest stop,
just
a
to
rest
pull over,
stop.
look at it, and we're like, this is not good.
Yeah, we're like, oh god.
I was like, there's nothing we can do to fix this here. So we find the close auto zone. We just limp in there. In the
Which
park.
is the only thing I can do in this whole fucking situation is like,
Abe
where's
is-
the nearest auto zone?
Abe's
Because I don't even know. Like,
Abe
do you
is
just
not-
throw the whole boat away?
Not very handy.
I think
To
you
him,
throw the
it's
whole
like
boat
we buy a
away.
new
Now,
boat.
did Abe ride with his shirt off on the way?
No, I did not have my shirt on.
That's a new thing. You just started working out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So
the shirt
we
off.
pull in this auto zone. I go in and it's like, all right, guys, we have nothing on us here. And these dudes are super cool. They're like, here's the deal. Just take shit outside. If
Yeah.
you need it, come in and pay for it. If you don't, put it back. So cool. So we find a hub and we get out there. And we end up having to find a chisel and beat a bearing hub off the hub, or bearing race off the hub. And it's so warped. The hub that's supposed to fit doesn't fit. We have to beat the hub on there, which I know is not good. But we just got to limp into Houston. Like, we can't go anywhere from this point. Getting here was bad.
Yeah.
So
Where are you at this point again?
south of Centerville, north of Houston.
We're in Huntsville.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, it was
So we're in
Huntsville.
Huntsville.
It was Huntsville
Yeah.
because I have a buddy in
the only
Conroe,
other
and we
place
hadn't
there is.
we hadn't made Conroe.
Yeah.
So-
that's all we needed to make was Conroe.
We go in. We use truck jack. We get it off the ground. We use some of their jack stands, and just start beating on this thing. And we finally just beat a hub onto it and grease it up and are filthy with. Shitty tools is an wild overstatement.
Yeah.
You know,
Like-
it's just like, oh my god.
Dude, that's all part of the fun, though, man.
And I mean,
is.
I'm comfortable working on all these things, and this was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
And now it's dark, and so now I'm just with a flashlight
He's holding-
like off
he's
my
holding
cell
the phone.
phone. Like, is
so
this good?
we get it done, and we limp into Conroe and park it at my buddy's place, and we decide we're gonna go drink. We go have beers, we eat some wings, we go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and the next morning, like, here goes. So we just start tearing it apart. We go to Northern Tool, we find new hangers, we buy new axle, we buy new hubs, and we just redo it all.
Yeah.
You got to at that point.
At that,
I mean-
yeah, like, am I gonna try to find somebody to cut an axle and weld a new spindle on that day? Nah, ain't happening. I was like,
Not to mention, you'll probably spend more
this,
doing
yeah,
that
the
than putting
same.
a new one on.
So we
Yeah.
we just got a cheap axle and bolted the thing on there, and cut a bunch of rusty U-bolts and did all this, and we get it done. And we actually the next morning we were going down for a BHA
BHA.
event, and we went to this archery event, and then picked up the boat, headed back to Dallas. We
Drank a
made-
bar out of Seagram
Drank
7.
a bar out of Seagram 7 completely.
Like, literally, a table like this, two of us,
Filled it up with
like,
glasses.
just glasses. Because they kept bringing us
Glasses.
new glasses.
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 Glasses. And we played shuffleboard for, I have no idea how we
Hours.
did
We were
Uber.
Ubering.
We
for
were
everyone
Ubering.
listening, we were Ubering.
Which
Gotta be
really
safe.
put the...
Safety first.
You have to unwind after after that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
God, yeah.
That was the first instance.
Yeah, the second one was
And
with
the
us.
second,
God damn. There was a second one.
everything's kosher. And then
Yeah.
one morning, year before last?
yeah.
Last
Last year.
Last spring. We decide we're gonna go. We during duck season we'd found all these shallows on the north side of Ray Roberts, and there was a shitload of carp. We're like, we're gonna go boat fish a bunch of carp. Hook up the boat one morning. It's us three. Drag it up there. Driving, and I was like, that's weird. Like,
This road's rough.
it's
What's that
smoking.
noise? There's some smell.
And we caught it before it did it
Yeah.
again, but I get it slung the seal and slung all the grease and started doing the same thing. Like, oh, are you kidding me? But we caught it. So pull
Well,
over.
hang on. Because before all that, before we left, he's so paranoid now. We greased this thing before we left his house.
That's right.
It
So I
still
may
did
have
it.
pushed the seal off.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I may have
And-
pushed.
I mean,
It's like,
I may have done it
yeah.
very well.
I
done.
wasn't saying that.
No,
what I'm
it's
saying
fine.
is like,
I own it. I own
it
it.
wasn't like we neglected this
Oh,
thing.
no.
It was like just
Put eyes on
we
those
were,
things.
I
now.
was driving in the passenger seat, like, you know, I'm a mechanic. I'm like, we did everything right. Everything's good. I'm like, whatever. And he's like, something feels wrong. I'm like, it's just road.
It was just it was like a squeaking noise. I was like, what's that squeaking noise?
You're good, dude.
Squeaking
I was like,
noise.
are you dragging a chain or something? What
can't
is that
hear.
noise? And then we finally pulled over. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Trailer
Well, it
maintenance
wasn't
is
as
almost
bad.
as much as
The
boat
spindable's
maintenance.
fine. We dropped the trailer. We find right up the road there was this big
It was like an
RV
RV.
place. I go inside and it's like, listen, you don't have any hubs or anything? No, we got
Listen,
nothing.
Linda, we need hubs.
Exactly. and Linda's like, I got nothing, honey, but you can leave your trailer. We said,
Yeah,
deal.
super nice people.
So we
great
drop
people.
the trailer. We haul ass back to the house here, grab tools, hit Northern Tool in Denton. Just shit. We just bring all my tools.
Take one of everything.
Everything. We buy a hub.
Thank God there's a Northern Tool most places.
Oh yeah. And so we get up there, we
There's
get it
always one not
swapped,
far.
and we said, we're still going fishing. Like
yeah.
this ain't stopping us.
Like, you know that feeling
Oh,
after
no.
you finish
It
everything
gets
and
better.
you're like,
Feel defeated.
success. We get to go do
Yeah.
stuff still. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did it. No problem. We overcame, and it gets better. Get up there. We go to drop in. It's choppy as shit. I mean, rollers that morning. All of a sudden, I swear when we left, the plan was
Oh, it was beautiful.
it
Beautiful
was
day.
supposed to be glass, and it's rollers. And we're like, nah, we're sending it because we've
Yeah.
already been through this. So we get this boat in the
We've been
water.
held back.
Everybody hold on to your
I
asshole.
think I heard this story.
We get this
Yeah,
boat
yeah.
in the water, and it's blah, blah, blah. Cool, it's no problem. It's no problem. And I thought, we'll just run the edge of this cove out. We're not in a hurry.
Hug
we're
the banks.
and we're going to the. Once we get the shallows, it's fine. And I go, hug it, hug it, hug it, hug it. And we're 200 yards. I mean, and we're
it's right when you goose
cruising.
it.
We're not ripping it. Like there's no ill will. There's no recklessness. And all of a sudden, clunk, and Jared is sitting on the toolbox and flies forward and hits him and lands on Bo's. Like, that is not a tree.
Like we figured out that I bent your bow, right? When I flew.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
that is not a tree.
My
And
boat
then
that was
fishing
the
rig
force.
was-
and the, and
Say
the,
That
bent?
was bent.
bent.
Yeah, no, I was in
You-
this. I was on the center bench facing him. And
It was-
It wasn't like.
it was a
wasn't like
dead stop.
It was. Yeah, it was an immediate stop, and I flew.
Not like you hit a
And-
tree stump and roll off of it.
Like
you
I
know?
landed on all the gear
Crunch.
behind me, and your bow fishing rig was
Yeah,
there.
my boat fishing rig.
And,
Thankfully,
Oh,
my
no.
boat
and
fishing rig
we
broke.
get a couple
Oh.
rolls and then it pushes us off. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And kinda,
That's weird.
Like that didn't feel right.
I feel right.
It didn't. You know, you hit a tree stump and you kind of and then roll off of it. So
Yeah.
you can feel it's smooth. This was not smooth. It rolls off, and I started looking toward the bilge back there, and there's water moving.
Oh
I was
god.
like, that's not good.
Moving.
So and
We
we're-
beached it real
We're
quick.
20 foot from the bank, so I just run it up, and we look under. And in that goat devil hole, which I guess are pretty
They're
thick,
tough holes. Yeah.
They should be.
Real
we
tough
ripped,
holes.
we
Solid holes.
ripped a 6-inch hole in it. It was square tube steel. We hit
That you hit.
we hit a
Yeah.
piece of
Pictures?
square tube steel, like you see World War II movies, like Saving Private Ryan. That them shits on the beach. I swear it was out in the water.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm like, holy shit! All right,
What lake? So we know what.
Ray Roberts, and I know where it's at, and I still to this day plan to go flag it with a piece of PVC or something.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
You wonder why they don't.
You couldn't see it, and I think if it was glass, I don't know if the low pushed me.
Ray Roberts has got some sketchy shit on it. Like, I about took my head off of the power line, or what was that? a
I
Cody?
know where
was
that's
a-
at.
yeah,
You know where
right
that's
on the
at?
I
bridge.
know where that's at.
I was like running, and Cody was up front. We were bass fishing. I think.
told him,
He's like, "Duck," and I was looking back in the motor or penciling with my radio.
Right, and it's a
knowing me,
power line, a bridge, right?
you know,
Power line
trying to
bridge.
listen to Drake. You
We
know,
all know where
something.
that's at.
I want to hear the sub bump,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I was like messing with my radio or something, and Cody goes, "Duck," and like sure shit, there was like a wire.
Yep.
I mean, it would have taken my head off. Like, if anybody from Ray Roberts is listening that hasn't
Flag your
any
shit,
pull in
please.
that lake, please go
Hang on.
flag it. Like,
Why is the
come
electric
on.
company not going out there and picking that wire up?
I know.
I mean,
Totally.
that lake though, if you don't know where you're going,
It's
because there's no boat lanes. And I
If you,
swear
if you
back
don't
in
know
the
where
day,
you're going and you're not in an aluminum hole, you have problems with
See,
it.
I
Yeah, if we
grew
would have been
up-
in fiberglass, we would have been destroyed.
Those bass boats.
I grew up bass fishing on that lake.
Oh, yeah.
We used to have a 21-foot
Those guys
bass
got-
boat, and we hit Ray Roberts all the time. And my memory, I mean, this was a long time ago. I swear they had boat lanes somewhat, that like buoys that kind of like you need to follow this.
Yeah.
But then like we were running these
They're gone.
duck boats. They're not there no more.
no
and
way.
if you don't have any idea of where you're going and you're not in a boat like ours, even in a boat like ours, you poker that.
Yeah,
You do
any-
some damage.
yeah.
All of a sudden you're running, and then like you said, you get that slide or that hard hit on on that lower, and all of a sudden bam, and you just
It's like those bass fishermen that just go
Oh
hauling
my
ass across Ray Roberts and like, man, you
Yeah.
got a bigger set than me. Like
Oh,
that is
absolutely.
I mean, and
it
that's
scares
you
me
can
in
always
metal, much less fiberglass.
if you're fishing on Ray Roberts and you see a bass boat hauling ass through the stumps, you're like that guy knows where the
Knows.
fish are.
yeah, it makes me just like grab
knows where
something.
he's
like,
going.
oh.
yeah.
Or just doesn't give a flying.
No,
He's just-
or he's a sponsored
Yeah,
boat,
That
boat
like
was-
guy,
Bass
yeah.
Pro's got this one.
that was my dad back in the day. There's called most shit handles for a reason.
Oh God!
Yeah.
So
Roll and
we
roll.
beached that thing. We kind of like sorted out. All right, here's the deal. Boat ramp's there. We can make this back to the boat ramp. So we get it spun around, get her fired up, get her in the water, and just rip it. And I want to run it up aground next to the boat ramp so we can get the trailer down first. So we're coming in. There's this hippie guy fishing, and I was like, "You too." And they're like, "Hey, we gotta come in!" Like I'm like yelling, like, "We had an emergency!" And the guy moves, works out fine. We hit the bank. And it turns out it was a cop or a game warden was there.
It was a
cop.
local cop over there.
And he
at-
saw it and comes down. Him and the hippie dude help us drag it up on the shore. And I kind of stand back there and hold the
yeah,
rear end up.
Jerry
we pull
Garcia.
the plug and we
That guy
dump.
looked just like Jerry Garcia,
Totally.
and he was like,
And we're
"I'll
like,
help
"Sorry,
you,
man,
boys."
for fucking up your fishing." He's like, "Nah, man, it's cool."
What did he
It's
say?
cool,
He's
man,
like,
it's
"I'll give you,
cool."
I'll give you everything I can."
Yeah, so we drag it up and we kind of get some water drain. I was like, "Here's the deal. I'm gonna stand out here in the water and hold this ass end up, and we're gonna make sure we get all out we can." And one of you two went and backed the trailer down. I was like, "Put that trailer in the water. Tell everybody who's waiting, like, sorry, we got a problem here." And they like put it in the water, and
Fuck
so they put it in the water. We spun it around.
Holy hell!
Yeah, that's how.
And that's a Go Devil hole. Like they're
Yeah.
known in our world like to be
thick.
holes, man. They're
We've
heavy.
we've hit some shit, and that was bad.
Yeah.
So
That's gnarly.
we got all the gear out of the boat, got
God.
everything out of the boat, but me. As soon as the trailer's in the water, I was like, "We're gonna spin this around. Y'all shove me off. I'm just gonna rip it." And so I just rip it and hammer it up on the trailer, and we're fine.
Yeah.
But it felt real sketchy for.
Yeah.
If we would have been much further, it would have
It
been.
scarred me.
I was gonna say
It scarred me for a
big
little
hole.
bit.
That's a
I
big
mean,
hole.
I
Yeah,
did
it looks
have
like it hit
PTSD.
right down that. Is that the center?
In between all the spines.
Did y'all catch any
'Cause
fish?
It was right.
No,
down
we
there.
didn't. We
We
after
shot it.
that,
You're
we
done. You're done.
We'd only been in the water for like 2 minutes.
So you're done.
We-
That's
yeah,
good.
No,
Yeah.
after a
We
hub
got
and
the
then
boat
that,
wet.
we stopped at the first gas station and bought beer and came home and just drank.
Yeah.
Inside
That-
out, right?
That was Saturday, April 25th, 2020.
Here's your sign.
So it's still fresh.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was,
so then I started calling people like, I don't know how to handle this. But, I mean, we're home. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
I draw out the rivets in the floor, pop the floor pan up and see that. And call a buddy who just seems to know everybody. He said, "Hey, go talk to these people in Roanoke." That dude's like, "I don't do this. Call this guy."
Didn't you call Coco? Didn't you from Go Devil?
Yeah, I
And he-
did. I called Coco Go Devil.
That guy is
I'll-
legit.
Yeah, I'll say every
He's a
problem I've
good
had with my
dude.
boat, I've called Go Devil. Like, "Hey, Coco, call you back." The owner Coco has called me back every time, no matter what.
Most of these boat companies, that's one thing I find with a lot of them is the general tech support.
Yeah.
It's not there. And so, like, Coco sounds like a very similar guy that I know named Hoyt over
He's
at
the
Gators
owner
Hill.
and the founder of Go Devil.
And like Hoyt is the kind of guy like you call up Hoyt. Like I don't even know who owns Gator Tail, but I know if I call Hoyt, he runs operations. I can call Hoyt and he'll tell me what's wrong with it. And so I mean, I think if you are going to get into this world, I think we mentioned earlier before we got on the mics here that I mean, there's not many people that work on these things, right?
No.
So you really, I think our first couple years of having these boats, like. A lot of what you're doing is just figuring out who you can call when things break. Because let me tell you, they will. And
Oh, yeah.
and there's some key players, in Texas. Recently, there's been some better ones in North Texas specifically, which has been really refreshing. But yeah, you definitely have to. And I consider myself somewhat mechanically inclined, but I generally don't carry tools in my boat. Just because I got a great mechanic, I love him, and he always does a good job, and he's always there, and he's local, and he can help me out. So
Speaking of, always carry a basic tool set.
yeah, no, he always gives me shit. It's like, you don't carry tools in your boat. I'm like,
I carry.
I hope nothing breaks.
We have the same thing right here. The run to 35 on Denton Creek.
I got so many stories for you.
He slung a prop, like slung
Which
a
is
prop.
normal.
Shredded it. That
There's long tail aluminum props are meant to be sheared.
Oh yeah, no, they
That's
What, the
shear
cotter pin
easily.
goes off and then
No, it
No,
wasn't that.
he just sheared the blades.
So so we got up into
Gone,
right
gone.
there at the top of 35. You get into all those rocks, and we was
It's-
like, they were going in front of me, and it was like, no, stop, and I got
Turn around,
stopped,
turn the fuck around.
and I turned around, and it was just so shallow. And that's the other thing about the cavitation plate is like, it just sucks into the water. So it's like I can't. It's like I've got to put all 205 on top of that thing to keep it at least up or out, and then.
you gotta be careful when it breaks.
Yeah.
Once it breaks, that's a.
Well, I just lost all
I think
momentum.
they make
and-
rock guards too for some of them.
They do.
I know
there's
they.
there's a skeg on the bottom.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was more than anything. I don't think I hit a rock. I think a little like a rock, like a heart-sized rock.
pebble.
Yeah, got caught in between the cavitation plate and the skeg, and just
bounced.
pop, and just rolled that thing, and that's what tore it open. And so we took a 60-inch wide boat and made it a 92-inch wide boat.
Yeah, we tied him next to me, and the run that took 30
He had
minutes
no other prop,
took 2 hours
no
to get
tools.
back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Because I mean, we couldn't go.
now, how many props do you carry with you?
Two.
Yeah. I usually
But
try to keep
so we
some
talked
busy.
about all these stories.
Extra props, fuses,
Yeah.
Yep.
and a basic toolkit at minimum.
Yep.
Yeah, I have
I'm right there with
channel.
you.
I have 2 sets of channel locks, a big, a big enough crescent wrench that I can do whatever I need to do on my boat.
A white trash socket set.
A white trash socket set and a white trash screwdriver set because I also on the same trip I slid the throttle cable slid off the throttle.
He's like, I don't want to do it. I was like, bring it
That
over
was
here.
earlier in the run.
Yeah.
Those are the typical.
Yeah.
Something so small, and you're sitting there, and you literally don't have anything to
No.
open up the top to even get to it.
Yeah.
But you can see it.
You're just like, that
I've
just
had a
needs
fuel
to be
line
fixed.
pop off on the inside, and you got to remove the whole.
He lost the drain
air
plug to his
filter
oil.
and everything. I did have that happen. That was the most recent.
Mine almost did that. Thankfully, I caught it and screwed it back on because I was like, why
didn't
is there all
catch
this
mine.
oil everywhere?
I didn't catch mine.
It
I looked
happens.
back, and it was like an artery. Just
It happens.
Just pumping out, and I was like, oh, I shut it down. We were fishing. Looked at my buddy, and I was like, we're done for the day, man. Boat ramp was.
The old Exxon Valdez
Boat
going on
ramp, I
behind
mean,
you.
Yeah, the boat ramp was probably 1,000 yards away. I could see it.
Yeah.
And I was having trouble with my battery tender that night. So I couldn't get my batteries fully charged up. Trolling motor was just good enough to get us through the cove that I was really wanting to hit and everything. So I was like, I can't even. Wind was bad. It's
Yeah.
like I can't even get. It doesn't have enough power to get us forward. So we threw an anchor down. Luckily, a good buddy of ours reached out to a buddy that was on the water that day. I thanked the dude. I can't remember his name. Appreciate my buddy reaching out to him. Towed us in. It was all good, but
Man, it's like
yeah,
kind
I'm
of the
glad
reason.
I saw it.
It's
'Cause
like
if I wouldn't have saw it, we would have been running. I was running wide
You
open.
burnt that motor up.
Oh, the only reason that
Real
we
quick.
were coming through the old dam there at Lake Louisville where you got to slow down, and when I slowed down, I just happened to look back, and about that time, it just did one of those just squirts right out the side. And I
Scorsese
was
squirt, blood squirts.
I was like, what?
Well, like, and that's kind of the whole reason that the whole Texas mud boat thing even came about. Like, so at the time I was leaving, or I was living on Lake Louisville, and I had a house that backed up to the water. It's actually the same house that we host the Louisville Mud Run every year.
It's great times.
And Cody and I were just having a drink in the back patio. I mean, it's a cool, isolated house where you just pull your boat up in the backyard, basically. It was a great year of my life, for sure. And so we were just sitting there chilling, and, like, we were kind of just laughing because we always get together and talk about boats and whatnot. And we were kind of just laughing about, like, dude, mud boat world, like, the best way I can describe it to somebody is, like, if you put ape hangers and a handlebar mustache on a boat,
Yeah.
that's what a mud boat is. It's like the Harley biker gang world.
It is.
And so what's funny is Cody and I were sitting there, and we're like, man, it's like these mud boaters, like, man, everybody like flips each other off when you go to the hole. Like, it's so competitive. Nobody like talks about spots, which I know I get it. Duck hunters don't talk about spots. I get all that, but like, there's no sense of community like whatsoever in the mud boat world. And so,
Just
you know,
duck hunting
and then so like we started talking, we're like, well, shit, is like we should start like a Facebook group or an Instagram page just for like local guys, where like, hey, you know, you blow a prop or throw a rod or whatever it is. At least you've got a network of guys to like call and talk to. And so that's really how the page started, and then it's like kind of grew into like, okay, let's start hosting events, and like now there's like merchandise involved, and we're giving back to charities and nonprofits. So I mean, it really kind of grew into something that I think we never expected in a lot of ways. But it all started with, hey, if you're stranded, we need a network of guys that can come get you. Because with these boats go places that normal outboards can't go. So, like, if you're way up shit creek without a paddle, no pun intended, I mean, there's times that you're like that.
And people can't even get to you.
Yeah,
can't
nobody
get
else
to
is going to
you.
see you.
Yeah, nobody can get to you.
You're not on the middle of the lake just floating.
Even if you drop a pin and they're like, I can't get back there.
Yeah,
But it's kind
I mean,
of
go through 2 inches of water? I don't think so.
Speaking off Nick, I've been hunting Lake Louisville for a super long time. There wasn't a whole lot of mud boats, even longtails, nothing like that. And I told him, I said, man, I know there's more mud boats around here than we see.
Yeah.
And we were just like,
I think we did our first mud run, and there was like,
well, I mean, it was really kind of all started just out of, I wouldn't say a joke, but it was kind of a joke. So we threw up the Facebook page. Next thing you know, some members started rolling in, and we're like,
And
we got 15 members. Hell yeah, like, you know,
cool.
and so like we're like,
but the first one.
And when did that start?
So the first one
that
was
started 4 years
man.
ago. 4 years
4
ago.
years ago. Okay.
So yeah, it's grown into 2,800 members on the
almost at
Facebook page
3,000.
and almost 2,000 on the Instagram page. And but yeah, it kind of started off as a joke, and so like I was like, you know what? It's like it'd be tight if we
happens.
got like everybody together in the summertime, because like duck season, I get it, everybody's busy, and everybody always asks us, why don't y'all do more events in the winter? It's like, well, everybody's duck hunting, so it's kind of hard to do them.
We
But
didn't buy these boats because they're really fun to drive on
yeah,
the
no,
all the
so
time
like,
on the water.
but like in summertime, everybody puts their shit up in storage, and it's like, dude, let's use them. So we started doing these events. So like the first event, we just like put a flyer out. We're like, dude, we might only have 3 or 4 boats there. Like we don't know. We'd only met Hunter Nusier.
Hunter Nusier. So he was really our first
member.
I would say basically our first member.
He's an admin on the page.
He's from Shreveport, Louisiana. He's got an Excel. Was over hanging out at Party Cove. Saw our Facebook group. And he's like, man, I'm out here all the time. We ended up meeting up with him. Nick and I kind of took him under our wing. He helped kind of start a lot of this stuff with us, hanging out with us.
He's a pilot. He's got an airplane too, and he likes to hunt. So
I mean,
that makes it pretty cool.
Good guy to make friends with.
We
You
fly
talk
everywhere and
about-
shoot ducks.
You
Yeah.
want to talk about quick scouting?
That's like what I want to do. So bad. I've got a Hunter. Please be on the lookout. You may be getting a phone call from.
Oh,
David.
for sure. Yeah, we'll take you up. Yeah.
How much does this cost?
We so technically, if we're talking technical laws, you got to scout them, and then wait 24 hours legally, then you can hunt, which is what we do.
Yeah.
But like we have some good buddies up in Kansas, and we go up there for snows, and we'll go scout snows in the plane, wait 24 hours, go hunt them, and I mean usually with the snow feed, unless the wind changes, they're going to be in that same spot.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, man, it kind of started. So Hunter's been a great addition. So our first mud run, I think we had like I think it was like 8 boats or 10 boats.
Hey guys, Jared here. Want to talk to you guys for just a quick second about our friends over at AccuFire Technology. AccuFire's producing some killer options for night vision, thermal, and traditional scope choices, all with your wallet in mind. I'm just like most hunters. I have a really hard time deciding what I want to spend my money on, especially when it comes to optics. That's why I went with AccuFire. I've got their Noctis V1. It's a game changer. Its digital scope works both day and night, and it looks awesome. Head over to AccuFireTech.com, check out their product lines, get you something new.
Yeah, I was going to say the very, very first one we had was just word of mouth. It was a bunch of our buddies. I think Nick and I didn't know what to expect. We show up super early at the boat ramp. And I want to say we had 6 boats show up plus our 2, so we had a total of 8 boats.
We had like 2 boats from East Texas. Andy.
Well, it was
David Hart. Yeah.
I can see the guy's face right now. He had the boat that looked like a Timber Creek, but it was a custom hull. I know you know his name. I know his name. I can't.
Anyways,
super clean.
Yeah.
Super clean.
We had a
boat.
few clean boats show up, and you know, it just kind of started off as like, okay, you know, I'm gonna have poker runs works, but everybody grabs, you know, a card at each stop, and the best hand at the very end.
Yeah, that was the second year.
Wins.
When we really.
It's fun.
kinda
I've done on
promoted.
motorcycles a bunch.
Yeah, I'm a big bike rider myself too, so we love that stuff. So
fun, man.
we
Poker
started
runs are the
Anything
best.
motors and
Yeah.
Yeah, you run, grab a card, drink a beer, run to the next stop, drink a beer, get a card.
Yeah.
Dude, it's the best.
Well, I tell everybody
It's a
too.
good way to burn a
if
day.
Nobody ever everybody thinks poker runs are races, and I like to call them poker parades because It really is not a race. Like we get messages every year, like guys that say, hey, "I got a lawn tail." Like people get intimidated to come run with us. I'm like, bro,
You're just collecting
run
cards.
what you got. Our
It's just
only
collecting
rule
cards.
is no fiberglass. Like if you've got aluminum boat, like run what you got. We got outboards that show up and jet dries that show up, everything. And
motor.
it's really cool because like it's now grown into something to where you've got like so many different types of boats, everything from homemade boats that are hand painted to big wild, $30,000-$40,000 console rigs. And like what's cool about it that I think that you can't really get any other platform mud boats is you can actually see that boat that you've been drooling about for so long. It's like I remember when Cody and I bought our boats, like I was just going off pictures on the internet and what
That's
my buddies
so
say.
tough.
And it's hard to make a decision to buy a boat like that and invest that kind of money and time into it when you don't really know what you get until you show up and pick it up. And that's really, unfortunately, how the world is in the mud boats. So, I tell everybody listening to this, come out to one of our events, check them out. Like, you'll at least get to see every boat. We got guys that show up every year like, hey, I don't got a boat, but I think your club's cool. Or like, dude, come on. Like, we'll have a boat for you to hop in. Like, so
Go
people.
for a ride. We got food, music. We do raffles.
Man, we'd love to help y'all with that. That's
y'all
awesome.
are in this year. Y'all
Yes.
gotta come.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're totally in.
We already were talking about that. Like, got to do at least one.
You got to
sure.
come out. Last year we had Jason. So he's with Delta Waterfowl. He helped kind of sponsor some stuff there. We were able to raffle off a bunch of fun stuff. We were able to raffle off a shotgun.
Oh, that's badass.
And so I forget some of the other items we raffled off. But
Shotgun, blind bags.
blind bag,
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
bunch of cool stuff. So we're really trying to get this to go, in a direction where everybody's having a good time, whether you got a boat, don't got a boat. Come join us. We got plenty of room. Everybody that comes and rides with us, they're going to let you jump in their boat if you don't have one. And like Nick said, you want to drive my boat? Come on, let's drive it.
It's
And
a family affair too.
Yeah.
I mean, kids have gotten we've had a lot of youngsters out there, which is really cool. My mechanic, Will Carter, his son is, I think, the next up and coming big thing in the mud boat world. He's a young
how
kid.
old he is, but he built his own motors.
He is a cool kid, man. He's got a little copperhead, and it'll
Thing will
smoke
scream.
anything. It's a screaming boat, and he's got to be 13 or 14.
That's
he-
right.
And I'm telling you,
13 or
if you look on our
14.
Instagram page, there's a couple pictures of him, but he's like the next generation, right? So Will Carter, he's the one whose family owns the marina in Uncertain, Texas. So he's grown up doing longtail tours on Lake Caddo. So he's the only guy in the country that's got the software to really tune these motors as EFI motors. And so people come from all around to have their EFIs tuned from Will. And so his son's kind of grown up in it. So it's kind of funny to see him out there and, a little bitty kid just smoking guys. And they're like, why the hell is this kid beating me? And he's a little bitty copperhead.
Super light, little boat.
Yeah.
gets
Exactly.
Up,
Yeah.
gets up and
The math
rolls,
adds
man.
up.
Yeah, the math adds
Yeah,
up.
it does. It's and it's awesome to see. And he's super proud of it because he does all the work. I mean, Will helps him and guides him, but
That kid turned wrenches.
99% of that motor, I guarantee, is built by by him.
That's
And,
so rad, dude.
I mean, it's got to be a
Super cool.
super proud moment for Will as well, watching him go out there and just be able to
Rip it.
and take
Oh,
these
yeah.
boats down. Yeah, just having a blast.
Yeah, and Will is actually, he's a great family. Like I said, they're very well known and big staples in the mud boat community. And unfortunately, his father passed away right before our Caddo run this year. And his dad owned the marina and did longtail tours on Caddo for years. So this year was especially a special one. We dedicated the whole
it
run
was
to his
dedicated to
dad.
him.
And Will took his dad's old boat and repainted it and put Bad Idea on the side of it. And it's a longtail, and it smoked every surface dry on the water. So Will got first place in the drag races this year. So, and it's
There
That's
was
what's
there was
up.
a super,
That's crazy.
I don't know if anybody else knows. There was a super awesome picture. It was some of our good buddies. They made these koozies that had in memory of
that's the boat.
Mr. Carter, and then there was 2 checker flags on it, and he was sitting right there, and he had the koozie posted up on a post, and that was the finish line. Well, here comes Mr. Carter, here comes Will, and then here comes Will's son.
Oh wow.
And so it was
like
like the
3 generations of mud
right
boaters.
there,
That's so rad,
rolling
dude.
down
good.
Caddo. I mean, in the perfect order. I mean, it was. I'm sure somebody
Not
else has
planned,
noticed
just
that. No,
perfectly-
not planned. It just worked out.
Like when you take the perfect sunset picture, like you're just like, oh
Absolutely.
shit, all this stuff
Wow.
lined up.
That's
like,
what you want.
It worked out.
Oh, it was super awesome.
Yeah, and like it's it's kind of funny because like I said, when I first got my motor built and did some work on my boat, like Will was my mechanic and I kind of went to him for everything, and I still do, but he's in Gladewater, Texas, so he's 3.5 hours away, and his backlog, I mean, he's a year plus out. So thankfully there's been some new guys that Will trained here in North Texas. It's called NTX Boatworks, Josh Molina and Christian McDonough, and those guys have been really nice, man, because I can remember being here in North Texas and not having anybody to work on my boat.
Yeah, I don't know anybody.
And Josh is learning from the best. He's trained by the best.
I have to go to a go-kart
shop
to get.
I used to have to go to a lawnmower shop, like a brig shop, and they're like, "What the hell is
What
this?
are you doing?"
Like,
Yeah.
I don't have time to work on this.
Yeah.
So you really got to take it to them. So I highly recommend NTX Boatworks on working on these things. But
I've seen a lot of.
I forgot about that. You went to the
I
go-kart
went
shop.
to the go-kart shop.
That's
Like,
good.
That's that picture I was talking about.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
is that not the most
That is awesome.
picture?
That's good.
that is awesome. We'll make sure we share that. You know. And,
Yeah, make
and
sure y'all
tag
get
you
that
guys.
one to us for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh hell yeah!
So why don't y'all talk about your boats?
Yeah.
Because
what do you
you know,
guys-
we're very new to this. You know, year and a half, and you know we're trying to be sponges of information. But you know, mine's stock 35, normally aspirated. Yours
Come
is
on, man,
not.
you gotta-
Yours is not.
Those are rookie numbers, man.
I gotta pump those numbers up. No, absolutely,
numbers up.
100% correct. I know, and yeah, I've seen Nick's boat tonight, but like, why don't y'all talk about your boats?
Well,
so go
This is
your
where I'm
I'll
at.
do
Come
mine
on,
real
come
quick,
on.
just because mine's. So I'm running a Havoc MSTC. It's a 1756, and I'm just running a stock Gator Tail 40. We've got a Voodoo exhaust on it, K&N, nothing crazy, nothing special. By myself, I'll touch 30. The great thing about that 40 is I can load it down with decoys. I can load it down with 4 guys, coolers, dogs. Less I've seen is 26. The torque in it's
Holds
great,
up,
gets
yeah.
up, it runs. But Nick and I's boats, they're very, very, very similar. His boats, obviously, I'm going to let him explain it, but they're so much fun. The great thing about these Havocs is they stick. They're a timber hull, and we run a lot of the open waters around here.
What does that mean, if you don't mind?
A timber
Yeah.
hull? So
Because it's
they're-
different than a flat bottom.
yeah,
Right.
flat bottoms are going to be more of your flat, like mud. You know, they're going to slide over the mud. They're going to keep going. They're going to get you through some nasty stuff. These timber holes are built to basically be like a Ferrari on the water. They stick and they run, so you can dodge them trees and you can whip in and out of them at full speed.
it handles like an outboard.
Yeah, and once you get rolling and they're going good and you learned your boat, we take these runs up the creeks up there in Lake Louisville at night, and we can be running wide open, and we come into a turn and never let off the throttle, and the boat just sticks, and we just keep on going. You know,
But
these
you can
flat
still run
bottoms,
super shallow.
you can run
Kind
super
of.
shallow.
Depends on the mud.
Definitely depends on the type of mud, and I was just talking to somebody earlier. You need to know where you're going.
Yeah.
And I was so I know Lake Louisville like the back of my hand. I've been hunting it for a long time. I've seen the water when it was up. I've seen the water when it was super, super low. And so I know some of the areas. And so when I get in those areas based on the water, if I'm hauling these Havocs, they'll have the momentum to run through, and you can get way, way, way up in there. But
Once you turn around and try to come back, it
what
sits
I've learned,
down.
exactly. So what I've
Oh,
learned
yeah.
is before I let off the throttle or I go to turn, I'll look back and I'll see how much water I'm treading.
Absolutely.
And if it's a little bit, I keep a wide open throttle and I'll try to take the widest turn I can. Unfortunately, you get in some tight spots
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
and you can't get that wide turn to keep an open throttle. And if you get stopped, you better hope you got a buddy with you, because you might be pushing that boat out a little bit. I've been there, done that.
Or we all
but-
have.
Yeah, once you get just right, and like I said, we know the waters that we're running. So there's not been a whole lot of times that we've gotten really, really bad in the bind. But I'll let Nick tell about his boat, because his will scream. It'll scream.
Let's talk about before we get into his this timber hull, because mine's dead flat bottom, and I bought that. You know, I bought it used. It's great. It's been a wonderful asset, but it's North Texas, man. I'm not running quote mud. And we're running a lot of bigger water than mud. You're getting into some mud for sure, but we're not running mud like flat bottoms are built for.
And that's
Is a
actually
timber
why-
hole a better option? Probably. I mean, I know it's personal preference,
And
but
when we run mud, it's because we
we
chose.
decided to
we're
gonna
like,
send
let's
it.
see,
Yeah. I'm
gonna
let's
send
see
it.
how far we
Send
can
it.
make it. Like,
Yeah.
oh
Let's
shit,
see if we
we're in
can-
a dove field.
let's see if we can bump that. Yeah.
Some of the best hunts happen out of those situations, though.
Oh yeah,
that's the reason that I went with it.
Okay.
You know, and I was telling Nick whenever he bought his, is we went from that Grizzly Tracker, and it was a great boat, but I mean top speed, 23 miles an hour I think, and it was a 25 horsepower outboard. And we had a buddy that was running, I think a 35 mud buddy, and he'd just come flying by us. And that upgraded from, we were going to go to a mud motor, put it on that hole, to screw it. Nick's going to buy a whole new mud boat. He went and bought the mud boat. Thing was a beast, and we're running. And I kind of talked to him about it. I was like, man, we're hunting a lot of open waters. You know, we're not getting up in the mud flats. We don't have a lot of mud flats. And so we went with that. He went with the Mod V, basically. He's got the V front, so cut through those bigger wakes.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit better. I love to fish. Like I said, I grew up bass fishing earlier. I like to get out there, so I got mine a little bit wider just for stability, for fishing purposes, for the same reason. I knew that I was going to be running a lot of deeper water, and wanted to cut through the wakes a little bit better. By no means is it a super smooth ride, but it's a little bit better, kind of cutting through the water. So I think the flat bottoms, they're just going to slap a little bit hard, a little bit less.
Oh,
But
real bad.
yeah, those windy, and you know
Real
North
bad.
Texas, the wind blows.
Yeah.
The wind blows.
You
my
cut.
biggest
You
fear.
cut no You cut no waves.
Oh.
You're bouncing off
Yeah.
them.
Oh, you're still bouncing off of them. There's plenty of days where Nick and I come back soaked.
Just
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously,
Yeah, there's
sprays coming off and
there's a lot to them.
I'm pretty sure we've seen y'all at Louisville
probably
because we've been out early and had two dudes in mud boats rip by us while we're setting up.
If we have there are green lights.
They were green
They were,
lights.
yeah.
that's
No.
So we were back in the sticks one time,
And
there was
two dudes
boats
ripped by and green.
ripped by
and we're
us,
like-
came up. We were sitting back in our honey hole, and we were
Which
set
you
up,
can't hunt
and they went-
anymore if you
and-
know where
I
that's
know
at.
what you're talking
and-
about.
yeah, you can't hunt
had
there
to have been
anymore.
y'all.
Oh, that's the
no, that was the morning.
That was the
That
morning.
had-
The
yeah.
bend in
There was
the bend.
walking hunter
Did
or
y'all
hunters on either
shoot?
side, and we came in the middle.
Did y'all
Yeah.
shoot a bird?
Y'all didn't
shitload
stay.
of birds.
Okay.
Y'all didn't stay where we were
Y'all
at.
burned past
y'all
us and
burned
burned
past
back
us,
out.
went up,
We had
and
to.
burned back
It was
out.
two boats in
Like,
green.
It was a different hunt, but
We shot a shitload of
close-
mallards. It was opening day.
Wait, hold on now. It sounds like you guys have a story right now.
Oh yeah.
well, let's let Nick finish his.
Yeah.
Tell him about his, 'cause,
Yeah,
you know,
thank you.
but we'll get back
He's
to
a
that because
professional.
that.
Oh, we'll tell that story, that hunting story in a second.
that-
That's one of the most hilarious.
I was about
public
to
Because now
hunting
that you
events.
say
If that was
that,
y'all,
now
I'm
that you
gonna
say that,
apologize right now because it was one of
I
the most
remember
epic
lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. It wasn't us you bothered because we weren't bothered. But you tell your boat. You
Yeah.
talk about your boat. Then we'll
So
come back
yeah,
to this.
I had no shortage of lights on my boat. So this is we'll get to that story. This is a freaking hilarious story. All right, so going on my boat. It's a Havoc 1653. It you know, I wanted to go with a little shorter boat mainly because my storage unit's only that long. That's really how I determine my size. And to be honest,
at the time.
I didn't know much better. You know, I was like, shit, I'm buying a new boat, man. Let's go ride. And
15 foot. So
we came up with 15. Like, yeah, another foot would be great. So, anyways, I bought my boat. Shortly after I bought it, Hurricane Harvey hit. And me and Cody, at the time was kind of in between careers, and I had some free time on my hand, and man, I really just felt moved with what was. That was before the Cajun Navy was really like the Cajun Navy.
Yeah,
Like it was kind of Harvey was like their first big show. And now it's a huge organization, nonprofit, but at the time it was still in its early stages. So, you know, they were literally on the news back when the news told truth. They were on the news asking for little boats, and so I just kind of felt moved. I think it was a God thing, you know. I at the time had free time on my hands and had a little John boat or mud boat, and I had a gator tail, and I was like, man, you know, I'm gonna go down there and help. So Cody's brother lives in Houston, and they were stranded by the flood, and so I called Cody. I said, man, I'm going to Houston. Like, you should come with me. He goes, dude, I can't go. And I'm like, well, I'm going anyways. I'm going by myself. Like, I'm just going to roll in the storm. And he goes, fuck it, I can't let you go by yourself. Like, you're my best friend. I'm going with you. So it started like an adrenaline thing. So we went down to Houston. Man, we met a lot of incredible people, helped a lot of people out. Day 2 or 3, it all kind of runs together now, but day 2 or 3, we were north of Houston, and we got a call that there was people trapped in an apartment complex on the San Jacinto River. The water had crested over the banks. And when you get in these situations, you get really good people acting really desperate, right? Everybody has a bigger problem than the next person.
Yep.
You know, they'll lie to you to get you to do things because you can't see street signs. Like, it's like right at the McDonald's, left at the Wendy's. Like, you can't see house numbers. So it's a very chaotic thing. And of course, your cell phone doesn't work the whole time you're down there and all this because all the cell phones are down.
And you got to remember, you're in a boat turning at a McDonald's.
Yeah. And like,
like
I got a picture. I'll share with you all.
It's a plug for Onyx Maps. Download your maps.
Yeah, download your maps for sure. Onyx is awesome. But I got a picture of where our boat hit the top of a minivan, and you could just see the roof of the minivan after the water receded, just shredded from the gator tail prop, right? So that's how high the water was.
Jesus.
So we get down into this apartment complex, and the water was swift. I'll give it to Cody. He told me, he's like, bro, be careful. Like, this is swift water. And the gator tails are not made for swift, fast-moving water. Like, they're just not. That you can throw it in reverse and bang on the rev limiter, you're not going to go in reverse. And so we got down to this apartment complex. We had a sheriff in the boat, a Yeti cooler because we'd been drinking beer the night before, and Cody, my best friend, was in the boat. And we get into this apartment complex, man, and the water was moving so fast. There was a wrought iron fence that was just peeking up above the water. Then you had a light post. The sheriff is in a boat with us. He's in the middle. Cody's in the front. I'm driving.
Did you talk about the guy we picked up?
Well, let's kind of skip over that. But we're pulling into the apartment complex, and this guy we picked up is telling us, my family's trapped. We got to go over and pick our family up.
We ended up in the situation.
That's why we ended up in the situation. Yeah, that's what I was saying. People are doing desperate things. Yeah. So he's begging us to go to his family. So I mean, what do you do in that situation? You got to go help this guy and his family, right? So we pull in this apartment complex. I try to throw it in reverse. The water's at the back of the boat, just pushing me forward. There was no such thing as reverse. I hit this light post directly in the middle, and I mean, right before this happened, the sheriff on our boat tells us that he can't swim. Okay. And so I hit the light post.
You didn't tell your friends, but you're telling us.
The boat rolls. Water comes in.
Why are you getting a boat?
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other
for
story.
you.
well, I mean,
Well, we hit a
Trying to
light.
help people.
We hit a light post. The boat rolls. First thing I think of is I thought about my best friend Cody and the sheriff. I'm like, dude, somebody's about to die in my boat. Like, this is a horrible situation. Like, there's no swimming out of here. Like, everything's getting swept into a river, right? And so, anyways, the last I see in my boat, we had an airboat roll in, and the most bad to the bone, big block airboat you've ever seen. Like a 502, and it thing's like roar, just like roars in. And
Sexy.
To be honest, if anybody's listening,
You fucking mud boat boys.
oh, I know. Well, if anybody's listening, to be honest, if you're gonna go in a hurricane, take a jet ski. Those jet ski guys are just cruising everywhere like it was no problem. But anyways, so we get pulled out, we get on the airboat. The last thing I see is just the nose of my boat, like the Titanic, just drifting, heading towards San Francisco, and I just bought this boat. I'm like, shit, I'm never gonna see this thing again. Like, this blows.
Have I made an insurance payment?
Yeah, the boat was just repainted too. Like, it was beautifully perfect. So, anyways, we get rescued by FEMA and high water evacuation vehicles. We get taken out to the other side of the river. Well, we couldn't get back to my truck for like a day and a half, 2 days, because the water was so high, all the roads were shut down because we were on the opposite side of the river.
On an island.
We were on an island, basically, in this neighborhood. So this super sweet couple that I'm still friends with on social media, Brittany, and what was his name?
I can see his face.
I can see his face, too.
Brittany's name.
Yeah, great people, though. They took us in.
Oh, they gave us clothes. They let us shower. They fed us.
I didn't have a cell phone, nothing. I'm like, I had a Glock on me. Like, my pistol was gone. Like, everything was gone. And so these people took us in, and then we just started helping people, man. And then, so that's kind of what happened. So then I was like, call my insurance agent, just pissed. I'm like, bro, I lost my boat. You know, what are we going to do? And so I went ahead and chalked it up as a lost boat. And once the water receded, we were able to get back to the other side, get to my truck, and I start driving home. Well, then I drive home, and I build pools for a living. And a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook happened to live he's in the pool industry. He happened to live in the apartment complex where my boat was found up in a tree. And he called me and he goes, hey man, I saw your post on Facebook that you lost your boat. I'm like 90% sure this is your boat. What's your VIN number? We start swapping information, and sure as shit, it was my boat. So just a grace of God thing. And so he goes, here's what he tells me. I'm like past Buc-ee's, almost back to Dallas. He goes, hey man, you better get here. Like, people are trying to steal your boat right now. Like, people are trying to take it. I'm like, shit. So I turn right back around, go back down to Houston, We get there in the parking lot. Thankfully, the couple that took us in, her and her husband, came over, like, helped us get it on the trailer. And I actually have shout out to Sea Light LEDs. My LED light still worked after being underwater for 2 days. So anyways, I got the boat back in the trailer. Then it was like, okay, what do I do with it, right? Insurance is telling me, like, hey, you know, if you can salvage the hull, we'll buy you a new motor. That seemed like the best thing to do. So I went ahead and took the hull back to Full Trail Marine in Nashville, Arkansas, and that's where I bought the boat. And they were able to assess the insurance damage. I got it. I ended up putting a new motor, a new gator tail on it. At the time, the 40 EFI gator tails were not in existence. So this was a 37 is what my motor currently is, EFI. So I got it, and then it was like, dude, this thing was almost my coffin, right? So I'm like, it's time to pimp out the duck boat.
Yeah.
And to this day, I have a hard time ever thinking about selling it, although it might be for sale soon. But I basically started just redoing it. So it started off doing hydroturf. Then I got into adding lights to it, which I'll get to the lighting here in a second. But I've got laser beams on it and all kinds of crazy, fun stuff.
Can't wait to see those tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. You actually need some fog to see them. So they're
No, for sure.
it's cool to see you got
But-
lasers in your boat, you know. But
when
on
it's
a foggy
on a
night,
duck
it's
morning,
awesome.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, shoot a couple
Who's
hundred
this
feet in the
king
air.
shit of Fuck Mountain?
Yeah. So we anyway, so
Deal.
I start
Sold.
redoing it. I did WJR Customs. Shout out to Joe Ruswald. He's great. He's a guy that owns WJR. They're a little company out of Arkansas that makes duck boat accessories. Him and Caleb Jones, who owns Sea Light LED, they heard my story. They just stood behind all the work. They're like, man, you're doing what you did. Like, we're going to swap out all your LEDs. Like, they swapped them all out. No questions asked, free of charge. So I got all new lights on it. I went ahead and did Southern Light LED, snake tubes on the outside, Southern Light LED, snake tubes on the inside, Southern Light LED rooster tails, and I actually have another set of rooster tail lights that are sea lights. So this thing looks like Michael
these are-
Jackson
I-
Thriller.
It's daytime.
I
rolling
didn't get
across.
on to that.
Yeah, and so
It's nice to know about Sea Light. I just put LED bulbs all in my truck, and that's the brand that I got.
Sea Light's great, man.
It's awesome.
Caleb Jones is a wonderful guy. We're good buddies. I've actually never met him in person, but we message a lot about different duck boat stuff, and he's great. So then I got into actually a good friend of ours. He passed away recently. His name was Trey Murdoch, and he was really close to me and Cody. He's a kind of an OG mudboat guy, and
He was one of the.
he got us
Actually,
into it.
I shared, me and my brother and Trey and we shared mud boats from, I think it was 2011, 2012, and up until Nick bought his, and then Trey had his. Yeah, I mean,
Great guy, but
yeah.
Trey really got me into the performance side of the mud boats. And what I mean by that is like just the general tuning of them, the having fun of building the motors and things like that. We took he introduced me to a gentleman named Will Carter, who I mentioned earlier. Will was one of the original OG Caddo, duck boat guys, and Will does motor work, but you kind of almost like have to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody to even get on his schedule.
That was
And
Trey.
so Trey was that guy who knew Will. He lived next to Will, and Trey's boat was always the fastest boat in our group. So I was like, I went to Will, and I'm like, bro, that's like Ricky Bobby. I just want to go fast. Like I want to go so fucking fast, And Will, he's kind of quiet guy, but he's like, all right, we'll go fast. And Will prides himself on never having a motor that's come back, right? So he'll build your motor depending how far you live from his house. So if I'm in Dallas, he's not going to hard tune my motor and really go ham with it because
He can't fix it.
he can't. He's in three and a half hours
Except
away.
for Trey's.
Except for Trey's. So there's his buddies that are local down in Caddo in East Texas. They'll tune him freaking way harder, and because Will's right down the road.
Yeah.
So
So that's what I
Tuesday
have
night.
questions about. So continue.
Yeah,
But
so-
then we're gonna get into that.
So what Will and I did, as far as head work, we did decked heads. We ported and polished the heads. We did springs, stainless valves, ECU tune. We put a performance cam in it. We bored out the throttle body, poured and polished the intake. We put HD push rods, and then my performance exhaust was a Voodoo. Then on top of that, we did flat top pistons, forged connecting rods, roller rockers, and even what we call a hotter tune. So, all in, you're about $5,500 plus exhaust. So it's a $6,000 build on the motor.
On top of the motor, Abe.
Now,
I know.
Yeah, and so that's just the top, right?
Yep.
I run 110 octane race gas in my boat. I get a lot of probably the number one question I get from guys through Instagram, Facebook page is, "Hey, can I run 110 in my stock boat?" And the answer is no. You will foul your plugs. You will screw shit up. So if you're gonna do it, take it to Will first. Let him tune the computer for that, especially if it's an EFI motor.
There's just no need to.
There's no need
If
to.
you're on a stock motor, there's just no need to. Run 93 and just enjoy it.
Enjoy it, yeah, and but these motors, they're finicky. You've got to spend more time on them. You will break shit. Like you've got to, and really, like you talk about these different motor builders. You got Nick Willey, you got Will Carter, NTX Boatworks, Delta. Delta's really big in Louisiana, and the thing to understand about that is Delta is kind of a off-the-shelf build, right? So they stock parts, they ship them to you. You can DIY and put them in yourself. They've got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Mm-hmm. Here in Texas, you talk to guys like Will or Josh Molina at NTX Boatworks, like, we don't have stage 1. It's either stage 2, stage 3, or GTFO. Because, like, really, a stage 3 Delta is like a stage 2 Will Carter build, right? So Will's building these things like you would build a dragster or funny car. Like I know they're lawnmower motors, but
Still.
Will treats them like that, right? So there's a lot more that goes into them. Will's actually came out with his new exhaust, which I don't know if we're even supposed to talk about that yet, but this new exhaust is putting out a lot more horsepower than a typical Voodoo or Stainless Works exhaust. Will's got a dyno, so we dyno all of our motors when they come off. So
I love it.
How do you dyno a mud boat?
Will.
Just
Take it to Will. Yeah.
It probably hooked the prop up. to
Yeah,
it,
well,
something.
you plug in. So in the back of the Gator Tails, there's a little plug, so
Okay.
you can plug into him, and he's got him on his laptop. And I got a video too.
And
I'll
it's
send
just
to
like
y'all.
you
You can
just put
post.
the motor in water or something. And
No, you can run them dry, so they're air-cooled motors.
Oh,
So just like
I just didn't know if you needed that kind of drag on the
No,
prop
you
to-
could probably
You
hook
do
the.
wanna
You could
put
hook
a-
the shaft up to
You want to
something.
put a no.
You want to put load on it. You have to put load on
You
it.
gotta put
Yeah,
a
that's
load
why I
on
said
it.
put it in water.
So like when I bought my boat, again, it's a 37 horsepower EFI build. I'm knocking on the door of 70 horsepower now on my boat. So that kind of shows you it screams. And now take my same boat and like Cody was talking about a timber hole, and you put it on a flat bottom. Well, you're gonna move because it becomes a math equation, right?
Yeah.
So your
Sets up on top
your
of the
surface
water.
area.
Yeah.
So the shorter the boat and the fatter it is, typically the way hydraulics work, that's the more surface area, the faster you're going to go, right? So if a timber hole, like my motor, on a good day when I don't have a big old girl in the front of the boat and a heavy cooler, I'm going to run 35, maybe 37 if I'm slapping hard.
He's
But
being modest.
but you take my motor and you put it on a
It's
flat
10 miles
bottom.
faster than I run by myself.
You put
Good
it on-
day. I'd say good day, shallow water. He's bumping 38, 39 in the right
Yeah.
situation. I mean, his boat runs.
Like I said, he's been a little bit modest.
Damn.
And you get in there, you run a
I did
stock.
13 once.
I'm telling you, so just speaking of like from a stock motor, jumping from a stock motor to a stage 3, Will Carter, I mean, things hopped up. Running 110, like I said, like Nick said. The throttle response, the way it comes out of the hole, the way it runs. I mean, the thing runs like a scalded ass.
Dude, you got a
So-
shit-eating grin the whole time you're on that
You
throttle,
can't- you
and
can't help
it's just fun. And
Yeah.
Like running full speed, when you hit waves, you can just hear the throttle just wah, 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 wah. Like it's that sensitive.
but Will's claim to fame though is like he tunes them so minutely perfect that like, dude, I out in the front of the house a minute ago, y'all heard me banging on the rev limiter,
Yeah.
right? Like, you can't do that with most motors. With a Will Carter motor that's tuned right. Now, let me tell you, I beg Will to tune it harder. There's more beef in that motor. He won't do it.
Yeah.
Like, he'll do it. So if I take him before we do our Caddo drag races, if I go down a day or two early, he'll put his laptop on it and tune it a little harder if we need to put the EFI
And then you
up.
run away from him.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't ever come back to the shop. Yeah, but like you got to put a high pressure fuel pump on it. So I have an Elderbrock high
saw
pressure
your
fuel
Elderbrock.
pump. Yeah, and like that's everything because they come with low pressure pumps whenever you buy a stock Gator tail. So there's just a lot that goes into them. But again, they're finicky. Like I've been through 3 ECUs in the
Never
last 2
gonna spend this
years.
money.
I know.
1 wiring harness.
No.
Dude, drive my
two
boat
wiring
once and you'll
harnesses,
be like,
yeah.
sign me up.
No,
Where's
he
Will?
won't. He won't. He should.
I'm a poor person.
Y'all
He'll
are
try,
gonna
he'll
drive-
try
I
to do it
will.
himself.
Oh, you mean
I'm willing to
going to the
talk.
bank
Well,
getting out
so
$5,000?
You could do like what Will calls a hunt build. So it's about 3,200 for that plus exhaust for a hunt
Okay.
build. So
It's like a stage 2.
and
to be honest, like a stage 2, that's going to get you
shit
With the
Yeah.
right prop, you will move.
Yeah, you're going to be running long tail. But if you put that like
No,
on a surface
he
drive,
wants to buy a new boat.
yeah. So if you put that,
Cody's.
And he's
you
looking at
run
having-
like
That's what I told him. buy his.
stage two on surface drive. I mean, you're looking at 32 to 34, but the crazy difference is your torque. So coming out of the hole, running that a heavy boat, running the decoys, the dogs, all of that stuff,
People.
you carry that load.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people like to really run the hunt build, stage 2 or whatever it is, because it's a mild build. It gets the job done.
It's not going to break on you.
It's not going to break on you. You ain't got to worry about blowing rods out or doing nothing
Yeah,
crazy.
because you're bumping that area.
Yeah,
of, like,
he's
throwing
tough.
around.
My
Touching it.
compression's so high, like
Yeah,
I mean, you
exactly.
heard me start up. It took me a minute. It's because those fluids got to move. That compression, that cam, like there's so much more compression whenever they bore them out like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you get all that. So I mean, it's a lot. And then after that, I added the stereo.
This makes me excited.
Which the stereo was kind of a summertime fun thing, but I put 4/8s,
It's totally awesome.
4/8s, 12-inch
Did y'all
sub,
hunt
and 2
Grapevine
amps.
last year?
Well, I was going
Nah.
to say, if that was
Okay.
the hunt that we were referring to earlier, if you heard the song Death Row
By Chris
playing
Stapleton.
by
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton, that might be the hunt.
Yeah.
No. It was
Because-
Louisville last year,
that
opening
was
day.
Louisville. Well, it wasn't opening day. This was later in the
Opening
season.
day.
Were y'all hunting on the peninsula?
When we were on
We
that.
were on the island. I'm not going to. So I'm not telling
We'll
you. what
talk
the
out.
island
We'll
is.
talk off the
Okay,
air.
all right,
Two-
okay.
No,
two-
we weren't. No, the answer is
Yes,
no.
we were at
weren't.
Lake
Yeah.
Tawakoni like the
We were
rest
at
of us.
Lake Tawakoni.
Lake Tawakoni.
That's right. I forgot
Well, I was on
Tawakoni.
Grapevine
We
that
were
day. I don't
exactly.
know.
Lake
Like,
I wasn't
Tawakoni
even in the
on the
States.
Sabine
I was in
River.
Costa Rica.
Joe Pool Lake and Joe Pool Lake's
Argentina
really good.
duck.
Joe
Joe
hunted
Pool Lake.
Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Pool.
It's gone from bad to worse.
Lake
Yeah.
Arlington's
Joe
really
Pool,
good
that's
too.
Lake
Arlington.
So say my boat.
Lake Cliff.
You know, it's stock 35 horse Go Devil 1860. It's
Vanguard.
heavy. It runs fine. It's great. We can put a lot of shit in it. We can put people in it. But there's nothing fast about it. What should I do?
Okay.
It's
So
normally
Will-
aspirated.
so
Great.
Will-
That's a great boat.
It's a great
There's
boat.
nothing wrong with this boat.
So you're gonna like what Nick's about to say, because Go Devil
They're
builds
the
a hell of a
original.
boat.
They're the OG mud motor.
Tell them about Will though.
Okay, so Will, I keep talking about Will,
No,
but
please do.
he really just knows a lot about this stuff. And he's got several different boats, and they're all screaming fast.
Well, what motor is
last
he
year,
running? What motor
Caddo,
is he running?
he's
Not
got
last year. Tell him what
well this year
Will
he
runs a Go Devil.
right. His main boat is a Go Devil, and so the Go Devils are direct drives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you race a Go Devil, Will, and I don't know what Will's done to his. He's done a lot. I'll introduce you to him. But what's crazy about Will's, like we have trim, and you probably have the trim that goes
Yeah, oh, yeah.
on the
Exactly.
dial, right?
Exactly.
So
Manual
what
ass,
Will
no
does is
reverse.
he dials that manual trim in, right? And then he'll roll up to the start, and he keeps that tail out of the water, and he just holds it wide open, bam, 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 and then he drops
bumping
it.
it?
Then he drops it in the water, and he goes, whoo, and it just shoots. And so, and Will smoked all of us last year with his Go Devil. And Go Devils are built heavy. They will run if you put
Tanks.
they're tanks. They're tanks.
They're definitely tanks.
They are. Now it's like
That's
We've beat on this thing.
well, like with my boat, I love everything about my gator tail being an EFI, but I've got electric or a hydraulic trim. So you really have to know to race these things. You got to know how to work that trim quick because I'll lose a race if I'm not trimmed right out of the gate. Now he'll dial in that manual and he'll just
dump
keep
it.
it. He'll just keep it up until and we have a little buzzer. It's like whoop, and it makes this noise on a megaphone, and that's our start line. So he'll drop the whoop and then he'll drop it down the water, and that thing just launches and gets on plane. This year, Will smoked everybody with a long tail.
yeah.
and,
He ran pretty solid with the long tail.
So good.
I think he works for it though.
And there's been talks, I'm not going to name any names, that there might be some nitrous or some methanol showing up to Caddo this year too on these motors. So,
I mean,
I really wanna see all
the
this.
racing does not interest me.
We gotta-
just
we gotta-
like
we haven't been to one yet though. Wait till you
No,
go.
I think-
Wait till you go.
okay,
You're gonna be.
touche.
You're like, bro, what's
Don't
that
throw
guy's
that
name?
out there. You
Yeah.
can't throw that out there. There's, right now.
I wanna get to the
I-
duck spot
that's
faster.
valid, but I just want a little more go sometimes.
Yeah,
if
well,
we're running heavy with the few
yeah,
guys,
especially heavy.
and normally aspirated,
You
That's
want
where
to. What's the saying? Like, you want to be safe, or I'm just making this up now because I forget what it is. But we used to, Nick and I used to say something. I forget what it is. You want to be safe, or you just want to go full on, and let's call it as 8. Because you can go that stage 2, you're going to be plenty happy with it. It's going to put a grin on your face. Or you run that stage 3, even on that Go Devil, it's going to be a world difference.
It will.
And you have a blast with it. I don't think you'll run quite as fast as what a gator tail might be,
absolutely
but you're
not.
going to run close to it.
I don't need that.
You're gonna
I don't
hang.
want that. But here's the next question and thought. Looking at y'all's holes, y'all are both running Havocs, which people say are indestructible, and there's
We've watched some
solid
pretty cool
holes.
videos.
We've watched some crazy videos.
Yeah.
I have no brand loyalty. I can't. We said this maybe at the beginning of the podcast or prior to hitting record. Man, the Go Devil guys have responded to every phone call. Their customer service is spot on. I'm very willing to be super loyal, but I really kind of liking what Prodigy's putting out. I don't know what, but also, I'm 2 years into this. I don't know anything about anything. Y'all are immersed.
You talking hole or?
But they're
I
the
don't
most
care,
beautiful.
man.
They're the most
Like-
beautiful holes out there.
Yeah,
and
there's no doubt.
Fantastic.
when you look at the welds, so like
It looks like
I'm not
they're
a welder.
real quality work.
It's
But,
quality work for sure.
I know enough to be dangerous. The paint and the welds on Prodigies are unmatched, in my opinion. You look at the small details. They have cutout cup holders that are the right size
Yeah.
for a Yeti. Like little things like that, to me, make a huge difference. Now, you will pay a premium. Like they're
Very
not
much so.
cheap.
Very absolutely.
They're very proud of those boats. My next boat, and I'm in the process of, Josh, if you're listening, start on my boat. In the process of starting my boat.
Don't give too much away.
I'm not, but
Who's Josh?
Josh owns NTX Boatworks, who is like Will's prodigy, right? So Will and
That's
him
right,
work together.
Yeah.
Will had so much demand that he needed to open a boat shop in Dallas.
So is he building holes
Well, if
too?
you're looking,
Not yet.
If you're
but
looking
he's
for
going to build
context-
mine. Mine will be the first one. So I actually called Josh over. He was like, should I even say you're building holes? He's like, don't tell anybody I'm building holes yet. So technically, no, he's not building holes. But
That's fine. That's
he
fine.
will soon.
12 people
He's
listen
going
to
to
this.
build
It's
mine
okay.
first.
if you're looking for somebody in North Texas to do motor work, go to NTX Boatworks.
I'm
Josh
not
Molina.
necessarily looking for somebody in Nortex build a hole. I'm just looking for opinions.
Motor
Well, so
work,
here's my
motor work.
opinion.
So, I mean, he could
You
do it
have
all from basic maintenance to full motor builds. Like I said, if you're just looking for some motor work here,
I'm not okay.
you
Let's
can't.
Well, he's talking about holes, though.
let's
So-
talk.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, if
let's
you're going to
like
holes-
maybe building.
Want to buy a new boat.
Maybe building
buy a
the
new boat.
maybe building the motor I have now. Maybe,
You're
or
looking at
just
holes.
looking to sell it
Can I tell you
in the
what I
next
do?
2 years, and start over.
What
now
would
that I
do,
know some things.
if I was to start fresh right now,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, there's going to be a lot of opinions out there, but if
Uh,
I was to
of
start
course
fresh
there is.
right
Yeah.
now, what
Just like
I would
shotguns.
do, me personally,
Okay.
custom Uncle J.
yeah.
I know Uncle. I've looked at theirs. You like theirs?
Custom Uncle J.
They look
man,
badass. I
they've
sent y'all
come-
that.
They've come a long ways.
For the
They've got so
lot of
much
value.
that they can do to their boat.
Boats now. And if you're talking Prodigy level, Prodigy, you're going
I
to
was
pay a
willing
premium.
to spend that.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it looks. They look
that's where
real
I'm saying,
badass.
that's me. That's my
I like that
opinion.
offset
I'm going
step
straight.
deck
I'm
and
going
all
straight
the
to Uncle J.
lighting.
That would be my next
Uncle
next
J.
hole. Yeah.
And then put a what motor on it?
Gator tail.
40.
Gator tail. Because
Get that gator tail, boy.
Because Prodigy's putting those
Anything but a pro drive.
Mud
Mud
buddies.
buddies. Yeah, they
Mud
like
Buddy
the Mud
50s
buddies.
on there.
So
Yeah.
you're not a pro
Yeah,
drive
you can
guy.
get one.
Not.
Just because of
Because
what?
he's a pro drive fanboy.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Duck.
Well,
Dr. Duck.
Dennis.
Dr. Duck.
Dennis is a good guy.
No,
Dennis
he's
is
been
a
on our
great guy.
podcast. We love
Yeah.
him. But Abe couldn't be more infatuated
Yeah.
with Dr. Duck.
No,
candy
Dennis.
striper
I've never
Duck.
met Dennis. He actually almost came. He's gonna. Hopefully, he comes to our mud run.
We
next
wanna
year.
see him.
He almost came this year to the Louisville mud run. So, but anyways, Dennis is a great guy.
I'll beat up on Billy and get him. To
Dude's
come out
hunt
there.
some
Billy's
birds,
awesome. Billy's
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, we've met. Actually, Billy and Dennis were down in Houston when Harvey was there. So that's how I first.
So
kinda
why
met them.
why don't y'all like pro drive?
We call them slow drives.
Slow drives.
Because no matter I've never seen any pro drive outrun. And then they're probably tough motors. Yeah, you have power reverse. I mean, there's some pros to them. But at the end of the day, for just all around, like if you want to have fun, have a summertime boat, and be able to hunt hard out of it, I like the Gator Tails. Pro drive. For whatever reason, they really haven't changed their frame or their build in a long time, and I don't
They
know
run a
why.
vertical shaft.
Vertical shafts and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So my deal with the pro drives, I looked at pro drive very, very heavily whenever I was looking
Yeah.
out. I really, really liked that full power
Yeah.
reverse.
And that's my biggest thing. As much as I love Dennis,
I mean-
and just want to copy him on all things, but the fact that you can spin that thing around and
So the way I look
put
at
yourself
that,
into some spots.
and I know that they've come a long ways.
Yeah.
They've come a long ways with that, the full power reverse, the way it spins around, the mechanics that go into it, and everything. That's more opportunity for failure. And I'm not dogging
Sure.
pro drive.
No,
By
it's
no means,
definitely
that's
a
just
point
what
of
my
failure.
mind goes to. But what I really think you want to look at whenever you're talking about motors and what you want to go with, what type of waters are you running? What type of are you in mud? Are you running open waters? Are you in sand?
on the
Are you
coast.
in
Yeah.
you in rocks? Like all those different things come into play whenever you're looking at. All right, this is the type of motor that I want. And basically, where we're running at, we're running a lot of deep water. The mud that we got is super nasty. It's very thick.
It's clay.
It's clay. It digs a hole.
We all-
It doesn't
I mean,
propel you. Yeah.
Everyone sitting here hunts the same areas.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be
And so-
honest. We all
So
do.
that was why I shifted away from
Nobody's
from
on
the pro
Joe
drive.
Pool Lake, man. That's where I'm at.
Smoking them.
White Rock. White Rock's
Yeah,
a good
White
one.
Rock.
White Rock's one of the
Chilling
best
people
ones.
there.
Tons of ducks down
Chilling.
there.
White
I
Rock
caught
is
a
a
13-pound bass there.
Did you really?
Look
Man,
at him.
why
Look at
not?
him. Just matter of fact,
love
I
it.
sure
Goddamn
did.
right.
I caught me 13-pound bass out of that.
Fucking this
Yes,
big,
sir.
man.
But
This
anywho.
big.
You know, the best thing about seeing
Sure did,
running,
yes, sir.
running a boat wide
On
open
God.
across White
On
Rock
God.
Lake is seeing the smile on the people's faces
Yeah.
as they're jogging along.
Wow.
Oh, by the way, that was a joke. You're
It
not
was a
supposed to
joke.
be running
Yes.
motors across White
You're gonna
Rock.
have some
Don't do
kid
that.
out there at White Rock.
No motors.
No, I heard it.
It's gonna
on
be the
street.
kid
What,
that
you got
races
5
along.
horse or something?
Trolling motor or like a little bitty
Electric
thing.
only,
Don't
I
be
think is what they
spitting
do
across
on
White
there.
Rock.
Some kid's gonna get in trouble. 'cause
It's
he's
not
listening to
electric
this
only, it's a
podcast when he
horsepower
said
limit.
that.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's a horsepower limit.
It's
on
smaller
that.
than what they've got on their John
Yeah.
boats. Like,
Yeah, it's super small.
It's like 5
it's
horsepower.
damn near a trolling motor.
Yeah.
Like might be
But-
2.5.
Just look
Yeah,
at your
it's
regulations.
tiny. It's tiny. I used to live right
Look
there.
at your
so I-
A lot of
regulations.
ducks out there, though. A lot of
Yeah.
ducks. A lot of ducks. A lot of geese, too.
Like Bachman too. You know, you can really wide open on like Bachman.
Yes. That's
But-
one.
Don't do it there either.
you may-
That's a
you may
rowing
shoot
That's a
thing.
geese.
joke. Everyone, this
That's
is a
a
joke.
joke.
You
know-
may shoot geese. You may shoot ducks. You may shoot a Southwest airline flight.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's a great
You know.
time for the sunset. You know,
Yeah.
watching airplanes.
Trying
No, I
to catch
mean,
Flight 41
All
out of
joking
Houston.
aside, though, Pro Drive's a good motor. I
It's a
mean,
great
we're not
motor.
dogging it. There's a lot of
No.
guys out there
All of them
running
are
it. and-
great. They have their
Sure,
They're niches.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're
But if
looking.
you had to build a fresh boat now, you'd go Uncle Jay's with a gator tail,
100%. That's
Yeah.
me. That's
gator
me.
tail 40 and EFI.
Or even a
Gotta go
37.
big, yeah.
I mean, if
Always
you're gonna
gotta
have
go big.
if you're gonna have somebody build your motor anyways, at the end of the day, they're taking all the parts out anyways. So you're
Well,
really
okay,
buying
so
a block.
explain the difference between 37 and 40. Is it the same block and they just mod it at the factory, or is it a different block?
You know, that's a good
I'll
question.
defer it.
I don't
I've
know
heard
that one.
things, and
It's a great question.
I just
So,
don't know.
if you're gonna mod a 37, why not mod a 40 and get a?
Yeah, but the
But
thing.
I've heard that if you mod the 37, you basically
Starting with 12's better than
built
starting with
the
10.
40
I'm
up,
just
but at
stuck
the
on
same
ding dong
time,
over here.
Yeah.
I'm not
Look how
100%
big
It's
sure.
just a horsepower motor, right? You're
Well-
probably talking only about intake and
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get
I
three.
think
You
it's
get
gotta
3
be-
horse out of
So
tweaking
if
an
you're
intake and
that poor
exhaust.
cam, then
I'm not
I mean,
100%
your
sure,
bore
but I
is
think
probably
there's
the same.
Yeah.
a little
well,
bit of a different cam.
So it's probably
very
same block.
small.
Well, going back to Pro Drive, talking about blocks, I will say I'm in the process of building a new boat, new motor, everything, and you know, according to Will, the absolute most bulletproof block out there is a Gen 1 Pro Drive block.
Okay.
Right. So if you're going to add a lot of compression and, you know, quite a bit more compression to it, you're not going to crack a Gen 1 Pro Drive block, right? So my new build is probably going to be a Gen 1 Pro Drive block on a gator tail frame. So
trying to
Damn,
throw the-
boy.
You're trying to throw.
I
the,
like this.
so
You're trying to throw the competition off.
yeah, well, I mean, there's a guy named Crawfish. He's running a
course
fast
there
boat.
is.
so- I mean, there's people.
What else would his name be?
There's people that are doing. And the thing is
Bird
funny.
name?
Yeah, there's people doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And again, that goes back to the kind of fun of this thing. It's turning into more of like a drag race deal, and it's not so much. I mean, yeah, we all duck hunt, and that's what brings us together. But it's becoming more than that, and I think that's fun. I mean, I grew up with a dad who had race cars and was always a gearhead, and I was always hanging around his shop.
I think, like I
And
said,
it got me into it. I had a WSX Trans Am going through college. I did a full cam swap, tore the motor down right there in my garage in college.
Yeah.
Had a blast. So the motor's
I
just
respect
escalated
that.
from there. It's,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
we
here's
like
the deal. I'm
speed. We like
gonna be real honest.
Cam lope. I mean,
Oh
come on,
man,
come on.
That's all
his
super
motor, the way
badass.
it sounded, I was
I
just like,
don't.
can't.
I don't.
Oh,
own
man.
it.
Motorcycles.
I don't think.
Then I would do a good what we call a hunt build. So that's gonna be a stage
Yeah,
2.
that's exactly. That's what I believe I want.
But for $1,500 more, you can have a
gotta-
shit-eating grin on your
No,
face
I
every
gotta
time you hit the
yeah,
throttle.
but also I'm real hard on shit.
I gotta
Yeah.
raise
for
my
sure.
Real
So am I.
fucking
So am
hard
I.
on shit.
'Cause here's the thing.
So I feel like I'm gonna just burn a motor.
Yeah, I
but
mean, you
hot
can't-
rods are
I don't
hot
want
rods,
to.
man.
Tell him if you go stage 2.
Now they're whispering.
yeah.
No, I'm
It's
telling
gotten
you, if you go
serious.
stage 2,
So
you
you'll
will
listen.
regret not going stage 3.
Yeah.
So here's what you do. This is what I was going to do.
Just come drive my boat one day.
I would love to build my motor. And
No,
I do have intentions.
absolutely not.
That's a terrible idea.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Run a stage 3.
He's gonna have to move in with me if he comes and drives your boat.
No. I just
No,
need
he's
to
got
make sure
more
my wife
permission.
makes more money than I do. So she can pay the bills and I can pay for boats.
Yeah.
I heard she wants a hot tub though. You gotta get her a hot tub
That's
first.
like $5,000. Who gives? That's nothing.
That's a full
That's
build.
That's a full build.
That's a full build.
Boom, roasted.
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 It's nothing. It's full build.
I got a 13-pound bass. Sure did. Sure did, sir.
White
What
Rock.
is-
White
What
Rock.
does that have when he picks on you? I love it. It's so good.
Because that came out, you were just like, I've got to throw this in there.
I did because it excites me. I'm happy I did that.
And then you said it like an old Southern grandmother. Got a 13-pound bass out of there. Yes, I did.
I did.
You really did.
Bless his heart.
Thanks.
I did.
Thanks, Donnie.
Yeah, but there's
My wife doesn't care what I buy. She's just gonna say like, "You're dumb," but then she's also gonna get in and be like, "This is cool as shit." She's the one who said, "You need to buy that boat because I'm tired of walking." She likes to duck hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I say, "You wanna go real fast to the duck hole?" she'll say, "Yeah,
wanna go
probably.
fast."
I want to go fast."
Yeah.
So that's not an
I do wanna
issue.
go fast.
These people don't
Go with
get
a
it.
mild stage 3. Man. I'll tell you.
My wife doesn't
What do you
care.
mean, these
Excuse
people?
me?
Oh, and you can
You
go
people.
like Cody said, and you can go mild stage 3. Like I'd call mine a wild stage 3. But if you go a mild stage 3, which basically all we're talking is the
Can
same.
actually run pump gas.
Yeah,
Pump gas,
run 93
93.
octane. So run 93 on it.
105. You're not going to go full 110. You can drop it down.
Yeah, but like you run what we call a mild build.
likes it
Basically, it's all the internals of a stage 3,
This has
but
gone
you're running
sideways.
basically pump gas in it, and that's kind of the defining line that I see a lot of guys who like reach out to us on the Instagram or Facebook page. You're like, hey, I've been following your stuff. I want to do a build. Da, da, da. You know, if you're gonna do 110 octane, just be prepared. Like you gotta always run 110 in it. Like, and if you're gonna do anything but that, let's just say you can't find 110, you got to do 93 plus octane booster to get you at least to 100.
a lot of
close
octane.
to
Which is
it.
always fun.
Yeah, but like what I do is, Bait Cycle Shop over in Louisville, right next to where I keep my boat. That's where I usually go, and they always got 110 in stock, and it's next to my storage unit, so it's convenient. But right, if I live somewhere where I couldn't get
What do you pay
110,
per gallon for?
I don't ask. I just drop off the buckets. But yeah,
Get it.
it's a couple $100 every time I go fill everything up. But usually about 20, 30
Yeah, try-
gallons a summer is what I go
Exactly.
through.
Right now, try
This is
having a
helping me
diesel.
pay for these are miles on an airline I'm just paying for.
And another thing I'll tell you too, just a little tip for everybody listening. If you're gonna do a build, Will's always told me, and Josh at NTX Boatworks have always told us, wait till you're about 80 to 100 hours on that motor and it's good and broken in.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good general time to go do it. I've got about 125, 126 hours on it now. I did my build right at about 80. So 80 is right, kind of the perfect time to go build it. And
I can see that. I can
being in
see that.
world,
So my
yeah.
2008
Yeah.
only has less than 200 hours on it.
Yeah, you're still doing good.
Because that's when we bought it. I called around and I called GoDevil and I was like, I don't know how much is much, and it was 100 hours.
Is this
roughly.
good?
And they're like,
Is
is
this
this
good?
good? And they're like, yeah. Who
Am I
are
bad?
you? It sounds like it's pretty new. So
You take basic care of it. Do your motor maintenance.
Oh, yeah.
Routinely. Those motors will run forever. I mean, it's
So if I wanted to do something to this motor, the one I have right now, just for a year or two to make me a little more happier, until I dump some cash
Stage
and just
3.
hit the
Oh, sorry.
he said it.
just
He
dump.
said it. He's just throwing it out there.
Yeah, but I'm never gonna get my money back out of
Austin,
it.
shit it and
No,
get
never.
it, dude.
But do you
Yeah,
ever
but
get
you
your money
don't-
back
you-
out of toys?
Yeah. You really don't.
Yeah, so I would do.
It's not an investment. It's
Wow.
No.
Lawyer.
I'm a hot
Lawyer
rod-
again. Boom roasted again. Yes.
The answer
I've
your
owned a
question-
lot of-
I hate
I've owned a
logic.
lot of hot rods, and I've
hate
never
logic.
gotten my money back. Never.
No, we don't do it for that.
I told myself I was going to.
I don't know. With today's boat market, I might.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's
I might.
I mean,
Very well could.
That's another hot topic right now is nobody can get boats, and that's why I'm in the process of building a new one. I think even though it was almost my casket, I'm probably gonna end up getting rid of old Harvey. Cody's talking about selling his. I mean, right now it is really a seller's market, and unfortunately, with everything else we have going on in our political environment right now, you can't get anything, including
Nothing.
duck boats, and so. It's been really really tough. Uncle Jay right now. What did they say the guys in the group the
Man,
other day? Like
Don't quote me on this.
9, 10 months
please.
out.
No, I was thinking. Well,
No, that's not.
I don't know.
I don't
What
feel like
is
that's too bad.
like
28 weeks or something.
That's half your text 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think the
I
last
mean,
I heard
honestly,
was like
I don't
26
know
to
because I've never
28
ordered a
weeks.
boat, but to me that doesn't seem bad.
Well, so like to put things in perspective,
like when I
mine's
dropped my deer cape off, they
Now
said
that-
10 months. So I was like,
well,
that's
like
fine.
my boat's a 2017 Havoc, and loaded out with WJR fuel cell, WJR stereo before I put my new stereo in, lights, headlights, grab bar, and 2 cup holders with the gator tail out the door. I was $22,500 for a brand new boat.
That's nothing.
Okay, now that same
Say
boat's
that.
bringing
Say that.
28 to
Yep.
to 29 with accessories.
Not too bad.
So I mean that shows you from 17 to 2021, right? That's it. Kind of shows you the difference.
21, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I mean, they're
Get out of here.
but I
It
mean
was $5,000.
the right
thing
boat
is-
You
will
spend
hold
that
its
on
value.
Dr. Duck merchandise yearly.
Hashtag Dr. Duck. Give me them waiters, bro.
But yeah, I mean
that was a great time. I mean, if you're looking
By his.
at buying boats,
I am.
man,
Everybody
You know,
knows
it
it
got
was
a,
you.
I got a 13.
it was a coin toss, you know, on whether or not I thought about selling my boat.
You have
Talked
another
about
one in
it.
mind, or you just
Well,
take a
the
break
more
for
we're
a
talking
minute?
tonight, the more and more I'm like, man, I ain't getting rid of it. I ain't getting
Sounds like too much fun.
But, no,
See what
I
you
mean,
did?
I got
I
to
had him
where
on the line.
you know, Nick and I had been doing a lot more bow hunting recently just because of the waterfowl migration, the way that the waters have been around here as far as having access, the opportunity, all of that stuff. You know, my boat's just kind of sitting there, and I love my boat. I keep it super clean, and so I don't want to just watch it sit. I would
Sure,
rather somebody
absolutely.
else go and take it, enjoy the heck out of it, all that. I can always buy another boat, but yeah, like I said, you know, Nick and I gotten more into the bow hunting side of things, but yeah, I don't want to sell it. I love it. I'm a big bass fisherman. Love to duck hunt. That's kind of just what runs through me. And if the right person comes along, goes up the right price, yeah, hey, that's all I'm saying.
Rose up in his tundra with his T-shirt off, saying,
Yeah.
"Hey man, let's
Hey,
do
man,
it."
you ready
Hey.
to part ways with that thing?
Hey, I ain't posted it yet. I've got
I
one
think
person.
it seems like Abe wants first right of refusal.
Well, I got one person.
So he's
Oh.
second right of refusal.
Yeah,
Well,
you ain't
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, but I love my boat. Man, it's a blast. I got the
I get it.
Southern Light LEDs up front. I've got the spud poles built NTX boat work, and on the inside they look fantastic. It's got the green
I
lights
built
on
some
the
tough
inside.
spud poles.
I got the rooster tail lights. I mean,
Dope.
it looks
Is
phenomenal.
it rear step deck or?
I've got
Yeah, just like
It's
mine.
got the MSTC, so it does have the step deck. I got the HydroTurf in there. It looks like the teak wood. The
That's
thing's
sick.
phenomenal.
It's good.
Me and Noah
You
Hunter
gotta
Noose
quit
here.
telling him so much about it. He's gonna start to get an erection.
Well,
It's too late.
so it's
We got it.
Diamond heart already.
That was-
I thought he had one when he got here.
That was a goal, right?
Yeah.
Just that it's shirtless,
I have
rolling up
papaya-
listening
I was
to
about to say,
ZZ Top or
He came
something.
in with no shirt on and camo shorts. I didn't
Yeah.
realize he was dressed.
I got hot when I was in traffic.
Get off my
What
legs.
is it?
What are you
No,
Are
doing?
those
What is
biker
it?
shorts?
It's just a
He got back from a cycling class.
The spin class?
yeah, exactly. And then
Spun,
he
it was spin class.
hot yoga class.
It's the beanbag to keep the Frank in order.
See, he gets it.
No, he doesn't.
Get out of here.
Yeah. It's no, it's a fun world, man.
Tell me about how big of a bass you caught.
13 pounds.
I bet you did.
I heard it was 13 pounds.
You've seen
so-
pictures.
I have.
I seen him.
Saint it.
Oh my god.
That's my claim to fame.
What was
on
it? White Rock?
Yeah.
White Rock.
Yeah.
I'll be down.
That's why I mean.
He got
Yeah. Hey, these guys can talk all the shit they want, but it happened.
Dude,
I used to live
13-pounder.
right there, and every night after work, I would
used
get
to-
home, dump my kayak in, and
Humble
paddle
brag.
around.
No one
were you
hates.
bank
No
fishing?
one's hating on
Huh?
you for catching
Bank
a
fishing?
13-pound
He's
bass.
getting really
It was
aggressive
the
about this.
delivery of you explaining to everyone. That's the delivery was just.
I like turtles.
Was it like that? Was it like that?
It was pretty
I
much like
apologize
I like turtles.
You know, I'm autistic.
Oh, we know. I've seen any of the
Hey,
pictures.
Well,
It's not cool. You can't say that.
You got Nick and I beat. I think my best was 9.7. Nick's was right in there, damn near 10 pounds.
Yeah.
That was a story. That was a fun time.
Yeah, that was.
Bass fishing's cool.
Off a frog.
I was actually fishing with
Oh, wow.
my good buddy Jeff Heath, who's formerly a Dallas Cowboys player and a good friend of mine for years.
You mean
and-
the safety?
Yeah.
The safety.
Dude, Jeff
Right.
used to bring the heat,
Yeah.
man.
So
Got it.
Jeff, I've built two pools for him and his wife in their backyards, and Jeff and I, just hit it off. He's a big outdoorsman, just a good guy. But he's from Michigan, and it was hilarious. I was fishing this little honey hole, R.I.P. We don't have access to that one anymore, but great duck spot.
Not just a good fish,
great duck spot and great fishing spot. But anyways, we were there and little bitty pond, and I'm showing. Jeff is from up north, and he's never really like bass fished right in Texas.
Tell it like it was.
So
That's the best part.
Yeah, so I was like throwing a topwater frog out, and it was like this pond's full of weeds, and I'm like popping the frog. I'm like, yeah, Jeff, here's how you do it. He's like taking notes.
He tells me, he's like, Cody, tell him how. I was like, dude, you got it. I was like, you know what you're doing. We've been doing this.
And then
he starts telling Jeff, he's like, you do this, and then I let him take over. But
and then so anyways, this monster bass, and the biggest bass we ever caught in that lake, just swallowed it.
Right after he said it, this is how you do it.
And then
twitch,
boom,
twitch.
and then we got all the way up in the bank, and it came off, and Cody just dived in after it.
Off.
And
I saw how big this fish was. And if you, like I said, I grew up bass fishing. I knew when this thing. So Nick had, I won't forget it. It was a red frog that looked like a real frog. I mean, it had the legs and everything that would come off the back. Nick's like, man, I don't know what Nick had been fishing for a while. Tells me, Cody, tell me how it's done, and I'm like, man, you know what you're doing. He's like, well, Jeff, you want to twitch, and about that time, I mean, just you hear the noise, poof. Yeah. And this fish comes up and it takes it down. Nick starts fighting it. And there's a lot of seaweed, whatever you want to call it. Bass would get mouthfuls and everything. You think you got a big fish and you reel up this little one. Mm-hmm. Well, this particular fish, when it took Nick's bait, and I'm standing right next to Nick, and this fish comes up, and it does the half of the head comes out of the water and starts thrashing.
Shake, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I won't forget it. And I was like,
the old tarpon tail walk.
Tarpon tail walk. I never heard that. That's good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, Nick.
It was just funny because it was like Jeff's first like bass fishing experience, and he was like, "Oh man, it's like,
just
man, we don't get this every day." Yeah,
you ruined him.
Yeah, just ruined him.
I just want to make sure Nick wasn't like just trying to jerk it in, like a little small fish. I was like, hang on, dude. And I was like, whoa. I was like, dude, you got a monster.
Yeah.
And he starts reeling it in. He's reeling it in. And all of a sudden, it goes down, and it's probably 10 feet out there, and it hits that wall of grass, and I see it just swallow it up, and it stops, and I'm like, stop, dude, stop. I was like, I'm going in. I go off into the water. I can see the fish through there, and I grab it. And when I come up, I mean, this thing, two-handed, just come up out of the water, and I'm
the
like,
bucket mouth.
I'm pumped for him.
Right after that, I quit fishing.
Yeah.
Stop.
Good for you.
Sold my poles, sold my baits. No. It was a fun
10-pound bass, no joke.
Yeah, I told Jeff, I was like, dude, this doesn't happen every day. This is not a normal deal.
You don't go catching double digits like that, you know. And just the way the whole thing worked out, it was fantastic.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Awesome.
It was.
Dude.
Well, we definitely encourage anybody, if they ever want to come out to our runs, y'all holler at us, and we'd love to have you, especially you four here.
Oh,
Y'all
we're
gotta
there.
come.
Well,
We're gonna come.
It reminds me. I've been out to autocross events, and like you're all talking about, like I didn't have a car when I went out to these autocross events, but you could get people with like Corvettes, WRXs, all these badass cars that you're like, man, it's awesome. They're like, jump in, I'll take you on my next ride.
Yep.
And like, you just get to ride around these awesome cars and experience it, and it's just like that kind of stuff is why I was a car guy.
Yeah.
That's why I like doing all this stuff that I do, hunting, all that stuff. That's just rad that y'all guys took the time to like make a group like this.
Yeah, and like I said, it all started off as like, hey, what if you get stuck, you know? And then it just kind of goes to show you.
I
it's
saw
like,
a dude the other day that got stuck. He ran that boat
wonderful.
up and got stuck, and then he
got
was like, "Can somebody come and get me?" Somebody came and got him, drug it with a winch, drug him back off. He was like trying to show off for, I guess, a girlfriend or something.
Yeah.
But he was like, "I am now on dry land."
Yeah.
Remember last season at Grapevine?
Oh yeah.
I was scouting one night after work and got.
I was telling
stuck
these guys before
real
this.
bad.
Imagine having
it took
somebody
me
though
2
because you
hours
got the
to pull
group.
myself out.
Yeah, been there,
Because
done that.
I was running along, like we hunted up here, like, and I felt it, flat bottom, felt it sit up. I was like, oh, we're hauling ass. And I was like, there's no water under me. Like, oh shit, and start trying to just like make that little wide turn and caught that edge and set down, like,
And I live here now.
With no cell
And
phone
so,
signal.
yeah, and no, I had cell phone.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So who are you gonna call?
I called Lauren, wife, and
Ghostbusters.
said,
That's why you get on the
Hey,
group
I'm
and be
not
like,
gonna-
I'm on Grapevine. Can somebody come
Oh,
get
yeah.
me?
no, and it wasn't an emergency. I was just like, hey, I'm not gonna be home for a while, so it was like 6 inches at a time for.
That's why I thought I never got a
Ever.
phone call.
So we have like
to get
we have the
that thing-
Facebook group, right? It's like 2,800 people, and it's growing into way bigger than Texas. But we have what we call the OG Texas Mud Boat text thread, which is
Okay.
like the original like
Like-
12, 13 guys and some
Yeah,
pretty.
we got like 20 guys in there now.
Too,
I mean,
too
it's,
many. You had to keep up with. But anyways, you have to like almost get initiated. So like
you do have to be initiated.
so the
gotta be
initiation
approved.
the
You gotta be approved
initiation
to get in.
process is you have to keep a hamster in your boat for all of duck season and keep it alive.
It's got to hunt with you.
It's got to hunt with you. And that's the
I like
only
that.
that's the only way you can get into the OG
Oh,
text
that's
thread.
good.
So
I would not have guessed that kind of initiation.
yes, you got
That's not where I went.
at least keep him alive for
So
the
good.
first split, and but
you
that's
got to
our-
make the first split.
you got to make the first split, but that's our big joke. you know,
What's the hold up in keeping alive? Do they freeze to death or what?
I mean, God, you got to think. I mean, he's in his cage. He's got his little wheel. You know, you're running across choppy water. You got to keep your hamster alive. You know?
It gets cold out there, man.
No, all joking. We don't make people do that. But when they first join, everybody in the text thread knows to tell the guy, like, convince him, like, dude, you really got to keep a hamster in your boat if you want to stay in the text thread. So we always
Good.
mess
Fun
with it because
talk.
everybody was like, hey, I met this cool guy at Cabela's. He's got a mud boat. He lives in Grapevine.
He's
or
got a
whatever.
hamster on his boat.
Yeah, and so he'll get in the text chat, and me and Cody will pipe up as, like, you know, kind of the leaders of the group, and we'll be like, so.
Let's see your hamster.
Where's your hamster at,
Where's
bro?
your hamster? And then like other guys will say, well, I had this hamster named Cujo. I kept him alive for 1 year, you know. So
Cujo was an OG.
Cujo was the original
Cujo
hamster.
should have a spot in the OG text.
Yeah. So,
He just ain't got no thumbs.
no,
but-
it's
Yep.
fun.
Feeding off of what Nick was talking about, just with the group going back to North Texas mud boats to Texas mud boats. You know, like I said earlier, I grew up hunting on Lake Louisville. I've woken up at 2:30, 3 o'clock a.m. I've been out there. I've walked in. I've boated in. I've gotten to the point where the respect is just gone.
Yeah.
You know, you go in there, you set up to hold your spot
oh my
down,
gosh.
and next
they
thing
set
you
up
know,
on top of you.
20 minutes before shooting light, somebody rolls in. And so what I was telling Nick, I said, man, I know there's more mud boats around here than what we see.
Yeah.
I said, dude, everybody we drive by, like he was talking about earlier, you know, you drive by them, people flip you off, whatever it is, they want to exchange words at the boat ramp, they want to say all this and that.
Catch me
And I'm-
outside. How about that?
Meet me at the
Exactly.
boat ramp.
Ramp.
Exactly. But I'm going, 9 times out of 10, if I met this guy anywhere else, we'd be boys.
Yeah.
100%. Just like Facebook.
100, yeah.
Everybody wants a jaw about it until
It's-
we're 2 feet from each other like right
But
now.
I'm thinking we're sharing the same passions,
Yeah.
so let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
If I drive by somebody, I recognize their boat, I get close to them or whatever it is, I'm going to wave to them. Not only that, I might go set up. I'm going to respect the spread. If they're calling birds, they're working birds.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pop rounds off. I'm not going to start blowing my call like I'm going to let them work their birds. I'm going to let them do their thing.
Yep.
And then in return, I want that same respect.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than waking up at 2:30, holding a spot down for a couple hours, and then somebody rolling in last
Dropping up on
minute.
your shoulder.
And then not only that,
7:15.
yeah.
Yeah.
Burning
Not-
all the birds off.
you know-
just calling like shit.
Look, I get it. There's only so much public water, right?
Yep.
Gotta wake up early.
If you don't respect the
Yeah.
spread, that's where my problem lies. Is,
Yeah.
man, I've done all this. I've sat here and I've waited. I'm working birds, and clearly they're working our spread. And whenever you stand up and pop a round off
Gone.
because they didn't go to your spread,
It's done.
it's over with.
It's
Neither
done.
one of us get to shoot the birds. I would rather sit here, know the guys over there,
Yeah.
hold the cove down, let them shoot birds, let us shoot birds, and we have a
Hell,
fantastic.
half the time.
And a lot of times you can bounce them back and forth between each other.
100%.
You
No,
know,
if
like
you do it right,
you scare them towards us, we'll scare them back towards you, and then
Absolutely.
you get more out of that group, and
Or hell,
everybody's
you
happy,
all
limits
sit in
out.
one hole and you hunt together.
you know, you block it down.
We
Yeah.
had an opening day at Teal. We felt like we ran up like we said, and this guy was already set up, and he flashed the light.
I was
at
thinking
us.
about all this.
He flashed the light, and I thought, all right, he's over there. That's kind of where we wanted to be. That's cool. We'll roll up the way here a little bit, kind of around a little bend.
And everybody knows in preference, like when you roll up at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Be
and
obvious.
and when
Flashlights,
someone
like,
shoots
like,
one light,
nah,
and
man,
you're like, that guy's over there.
Seat's taken.
And
Seat is
then you're like,
taken.
all right,
Far
we'll
out.
go back. We'll
Yeah.
go
Don't
back
let
up.
me run up on you and then shine me.
Exactly.
Well, and
I
not
could
just that,
see
but
it.
like after that, like you don't do
Come
anything
on.
else, and then you go set up, and you're sitting there setting up. If you feel like they're too close,
Keep
you still
yell at us.
keep flashing
Like,
and be like,
I've,
hey,
I've actually walked over to people that were close and said, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
it's one of our very, very good buddies, Max. I walked in on a spot. He happened to come from the north, so I never saw him. I got to the point. He was already on the other side. All of a sudden, I heard somebody say, "Oh man, there's a dog." I walk around the corner and I see a full spread already thrown. I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" I just walked in like dang near a mile, and there's nowhere between me and where I just walked in to hunt.
And you had no idea.
I had no idea. And there was two of them, two of us. Deep water. I walked around the corner. I said, "Hey, man," I said, "we just walked in super long ways." I said, "There's two of y'all. There's two of us. We're super respectful. You mind if we just hunt with y'all?" And he's like, "Heck yeah, man. Y'all got a dog." We shot 18 birds that morning.
Yeah.
Should we tell them about the Texas mud boat secret technique?
Tell them
Yeah.
about the
Why don't we
Texas
tell it
mud
off
boat.
air if it's that
No,
secret?
it's not that secret. So, one advantage of the club is if you got a lot of friends and they all got boats, and we all know where the birds are.
Don't tell them about the Texas mud boat technique.
Don't tell
You
them.
can tell them.
Don't tell them that technique. I'm not
You
kidding.
don't give the
Anyways.
secrets away, man. This is how you kill birds.
Oh, you
It's
go,
already,
and we do a cove takeover. So you take 6-8 boats, take them all in the cove that you know the birds are at.
Yeah.
Space all your boats apart, so it looks like there's 6 to 8 hunters sitting there, and nobody comes in the cove.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Nobody.
when light comes, you put all the boats and hide them, and you got the whole cove to yourself. So again, it goes back to
Community.
be friends. Like
Yeah.
this world is
very
life's too
respectful.
short, man. People are too
Just
cool.
be respectful.
Be respectful. And
We all share a passion, right? We all do this because we love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like I
Absolutely.
said, 9 times out of 10, if you ran into that guy anywhere else, you're going to enjoy the guy's company. They're going to enjoy yours. Why not do that on the water?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
I
that
agree.
is, in my mind, that's one of the best opportunities to meet
for
great
sure,
people.
for
It's,
sure.
it's communication.
Yeah.
99% of it's just communication.
Talk
like
to each
people
other.
get pissed
Yeah.
off, but you're like, man, I rolled in and you like,
I've had people.
come bother me. Like the dude opening morning who flashed his
Yeah.
light. Once it kind of got light, we all felt bad because we didn't think we
We
were
realized
by
how
any
close
means
we were.
that close to him.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying.
But
Like,
it's like
3
if
o'clock
I
in
was
the morning,
him,
you don't
once
know.
we kind of
You have no
settled
idea.
in.
And everyone's
so
got a
my
different
boat,
opinion.
we bought
Yeah.
from a guy who I guess used to like, gig flounder or something off it. So he built this light rack.
Yeah.
Which it turned out really nice because I'm driving the back. We've got a piece of wood and got cup holders on it and put my fish finder. So I stand up there and we've got lights on it. It's not a secret we're in front
Yeah,
of you.
you-
By
right.
He's not
4
rolling. He's
LED
not,
bars. It's daylight.
It's
for
an 18-wheeler
hundreds of
rolling
yards.
through the spread through the
Technical
lake.
fact about lights. I had a GW pull me over on Louisville in the summertime, and it was summertime. I think it was right around the 4th. There's a lot of boats out, and I had a few, and we were rolling around, and we went to the boat ramp, and we were just there. I think getting ice or something silly. We go to the boat ramp, and this GW is just sitting there, just getting people left and right.
Yep.
And he came up to me and goes, all them lights are illegal. Granted, I got laser beams, I got all kinds of crazy shit on my boat. And I go, what do you mean illegal? He goes, you can't run those. You can't.
He's specifically talking about the headlight.
The headlight.
You know,
and
somebody
Yeah,
else
we
said
had
that.
that same
Weird.
thing where we had headlights and he told us, everything's cool, just don't turn that on while you're running down the lake. And we're like, why would you not want?
well, that's what I
headlights?
told him. I said, man, you know where we go. Like, we're hitting stumps, we're in creeks. Like, he goes, I get it. He goes, our boats can't go up there. So what you do up there is not my deal. He said, but what you do on the main water, keep those lights off. So we call it going stealth or
bright, I
going
guess,
black
and-
ops. So anytime
But
we're
how
on
many people-
going black
I mean,
ops, we
first
turn
of
all
all,
the lights off whenever we
how
get
is that
close to the
safe?
main
But you're
water.
not running those
It's the
lights in the
dumb
middle
rule.
of the
Well,
day.
he even
I don't-
He's not
admitted.
the game warden, man.
I know.
Well,
it's
he even
the same
admitted
thing
he's
we
like, dude,
Hey,
look,
hey,
he was a duck
yeah,
hunter himself. He's like, I
very
get it.
aggressive.
It's a dumb rule. He's
Yeah.
like, but technically by law,
Yeah.
like we can pull you over for that. So
Our game warden was turn it off if you see somebody coming at you. Which if I see somebody coming at me at 3:30 in the morning,
if somebody's not
they're
running
not
the
out-
same direction as
Yeah.
me, Yeah, they're like, I'll kick it off, but no one's running the same direction as me at 5 a.m.
No.
Yeah, that's the only thing it can be is blinding somebody that can't see, and they can't see the running lights, and you got your red and greens for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you can't see them, it can cause problems.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can come up with. We respect it. We do
Yeah,
what we
but
do.
if
we follow the rules now.
even
we're
if you
rolling in
can't
close,
see
we turn
red
them
and
off.
greens, it's headlights.
Yeah.
Like let's
Right.
go like this. Let's go away from each other. Like, I don't know. I get it.
What's that big bright light? I don't know.
I
Go find
suppose,
out.
I suppose that's
Drive straight
aliens.
through that.
Going back real quick, though, since we were just talking about some public land, being respectful, one of the best hunts that Nick and I have ever had together, which we thought earlier might have been you, but so Nick and
this
I.
is the story.
Yeah,
This,
that's a banger.
this is the story. Nick and I
That
were
was
doing
opening day. It was 100% opening day. I know this for a
So-
fact. Continue.
Ours wasn't opening day, so I know. So it's a bummer because I wish.
But
was
it
you.
could have been the same
That would have
area
been
because
dude,
that
would have
year
been-
it would have been 18, 19-ish, and that same
This
Hook.
was
that whole year we
The same hook
Year
on White
before
Rock
last.
Lake. Yeah.
on White Rock Lake.
Yeah.
We slaughtered it. So, but continue.
this was a year before last down in Mexico.
yeah.
Exactly.
Anyways, Nick and I, we
South
decided
of
we were going to do a
Matamoros.
2-man hunt, and Nick's got a dog, I got a dog, he's got a boat, I got a boat. So we launched 2 boats, 2 dogs, and it's just us 2. We got lights rolling, rooster tails spitting. We're just coming in side by side, all the way up. And Nick actually had scouted the night before, and I'm gonna give him 100% praise because we rolled in
I'm not always a good scout, but when I do scout,
where I thought he was talking
get you.
about. It was a completely different spot. So we're literally rolling neck and neck. I mean, this is like we're the boys coming in.
Yeah. What is
And,
it? Flight
shit's
of,
going down.
Flight of the,
We come up into our
Da,
cove,
da,
and there's a walk-in on the left, and there's a walk-in on the
Fly
right.
Valkyrie.
And I'm thinking, oh man, they beat us here. So I take off one direction. I'm gonna run up a little bit further, and I look back. Nick doesn't follow me, so I whip around. I come back around. We pull up into the spot. Nick's like, "This is it." I'm like, "I like it." Music blares, first song we play.
granted, I've got like a serious stereo,
He
so
does.
like you can hear it across the
Now,
lake.
yeah, keep in mind too, these guys aren't that far, but they couldn't get to where we were at because they didn't have boats, and so I've been those guys,
yeah.
and I'm sorry to those guys, but I've been those guys. We
Spent-
pull right up in the
Spent
middle.
a lot of money to be
As
not
we're-
those guys anymore.
Oh, exactly.
Hold on, let him
exactly.
finish.
So, Nick Blair's Chris Stapleton, Death Row. As we're
Classic.
throwing our decoys, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking about the setup and everything, and him and I are talking, and we get everything set up, and Nick's like, "This is the spot. They're coming." I'm like, "All right, dude." I think we threw a lot of decoys that day. We go post up, stand next to some trees, dog kennel,
And it was just lights out.
dogs loaded up, and I mean, those guys on both
8
sides of
a.m.
us
we were done.
didn't fire a shot.
Ugh.
But going back to being respectful, every time a bird flew over those guys, we never called.
You waited.
Yeah, it just-
We waited.
Yeah.
And I told Nick, I said, "Dude, those birds, they've circled those guys for the
They would
past 5
circle
minutes."
them and then turn around and just commit suicide into
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
spread.
And I'm like, "Why are they not shooting?" I'm like, "They got mojos out. These birds are about to sit on the mojos." I'm like, "Why are they not shooting?" I'm not calling. I'm not doing nothing. We're sitting there watching. They commit right in our spread. Him
Yeah.
and I shoot a 2-man limit, public water right between these 2 dudes that I don't think has shot. Took a shot all morning.
Oh, good old Joe Pool Lake.
It was
man.
like
What a
one of
good
those-
It was an overkill hunt.
yeah.
Phenomenal. It was
Yeah.
a phenomenal hunt.
Yeah, but
Always
those are
good
the
ones,
ones you always remember, you know. And,
Yeah.
No, it really was.
yeah,
That was.
it was a fun one, but I mean, yeah, it's having 2 boats allows you to throw more deeks, which isn't always the right. I know we touched on that earlier.
we
It's not
did it-
always the
we just did it
plan.
because we just did it because we both had boats.
I really
and we
want to
both
do
wanted
a
to
like
run.
a 10 dozen decoy
Jesus.
day.
We'll throw
Throw
4
'em.
to 5. Yeah, I mean, so it just depends on what they're doing, right? If I'm seeing big numbers of birds,
Yeah.
and like 50, 60, 100 plus birds, groups,
But
flocks,
I never
whatever.
see those groups.
Early season
They're
is
there.
a time to throw a big spread, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
agree.
agree early for sure.
Late
Because as they
season,
taper off.
We don't even use mojos anymore.
No.
I just
teal,
think
teal,
teal
mo-
are a little
got
different
to.
species. I mean, they'll do it. But I mean, generally speaking, on big ducks, like I'm not really a fan of motion other than a jerk cord at this point in my life.
Sure.
What I
I'm
really
a
like to
hardcore
do,
that,
honestly,
Jerk cord
a
all
good,
day.
Totally.
a good
Water
friend of
motion?
mine, Jarrett Carrington, actually both our friends, never thought about this, but he takes a goose floater and puts it on a jerk. Which, if you think about it, the amount of water and the motion that makes,
Yeah.
just that one single goose, it's a really nice technique. So I've started doing that a little more, just throwing one
That's a
goose
pro
in the
tip. Yeah,
People
outside.
talk about a little bit of confidence as well.
Yeah.
Seeing some Canadians sitting over off on the side gives a little bit more confidence.
Coots,
Coot or confidence.
Bill Coots.
They had a big article in the Ducks Unlimited magazine, the latest one,
Yep.
about coot decoys.
And
We hunted
see
some buddies on
Mojo
the coast
now.
last year who ran
Mojo has
coot
the new
decoys.
Yeah, a lot of coot down.
We shot a 5-man limit that morning.
Of coot?
No.
I'm just messing.
I would,
Yeah.
I've shot a bunch of coot. I'm happy to shoot coot.
It's like
I'm happy to
15
eat
birds a
coot.
person or something, right?
You eat
They-
coot?
Have you ever?
No.
See?
Yeah. You
need
But
to be-
everybody who
But
says
you've never
that,
driven a built motor either, so.
but here's the deal. Everybody who says you've eaten coot has never eaten coot.
Anything
So-
with dark
And I'll
feet,
tell
you
don't
what,
eat.
Here's
if
the
you
deal.
cook it about like you cook that
Pull do.
I'll
that
tell you what.
deer, that
I'll tell you
venison
what.
neck, this-
Yeah.
Y'all,
hang on,
we'll
hang
do
on,
this.
hang on.
I'll hold this.
All right.
February postseason. You bring over every coot you shoot. We'll eat. Shoot coot.
We'll bring you one coot.
Don't shoot him then.
How many coots do we have? Do we have
I've got a half
Yeah,
dozen
so
in the
here's
freezer right
deal.
now.
Come
I'll bring
spend
you a
opening
bunch of
the night
Y'all know
before
what?
opening morning
You want
here.
to you want to come eat the day before opening day eve. I'll have coot gumbo waiting
Yeah.
with potato salad. That's the key.
We'll
Fuck
have a
rice.
Texas mud boat coot shoot.
Fucking deal.
and
Deal.
we
Yeah,
got
we got
a
some
do
coot
this.
shooters
hey,
in
we
my
got
buddy's
a
boat.
we got a coot lake that is fire.
I'll get you
Yeah.
more coot
Let's
than you.
no.
Yeah.
If you said a 5-man limit of coot,
Yeah, come eat
I think
coot.
it's what is it? 15 or 20?
15 or 20 birds.
coot per person.
If 5 men shot 15 coot, I would happily take gripping grins of that. That's madness. That is insanity.
Dark feet don't eat. And that's what I've
Yes,
always
they
said.
absolutely do.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely do.
I'll have to try it.
No, yeah.
15.
I'll try
about
anything
trying
once.
15.
15.
It's
So
15.
5-man limit.
All right.
That's 5. That's,
I'll eat coot if you
that's
drive my
75
boat.
birds.
Yeah.
We're gonna put 1,000
Deal.
birds on your
Carry
front
the
porch.
one.
Let's do it.
Maybe.
Say when. Say when. We've got a
Y'all heard
plucker.
it?
We got a plucker, and we're not plucking those
TMB.
fuckers.
Texas
Yeah,
coot
rip-
shoot.
I was about to say we got a plucking
Ripping
setup
breasts,
set up.
ripping
No, we're
breasts.
pulling
Yeah.
breasts up all day. Let's do this.
I think
Let's do it.
I think
Let's
the
do
first
this.
Let's make it
annual
happen.
Let's do a Texas Mud Boats coot shoot.
Texas
One day,
Mud
Boat
Boater
coot shoot.
One
Stormwater
day.
Creek coot shoot.
and then we'll make a big mess of gumbo or etouffee.
The
you know?
coot
That's what-
shoot.
I like it. Hey, now
Let's do
you're
it.
talking my language.
We can get a big pot. I'll make a shitload of
I got that
roux,
big
roux prior.
crawfish, yeah.
We can knock this shit out in a couple hours. Everybody
I
drink
like that.
beer. Dude, all day.
So
all
one
day.
of the events I've been wanting to put on soon,
And you can put anything
is
in
I
it,
want to do a
obviously.
scavenger
100%.
hunt.
Now it's
Okay.
gotta be
So,
straight
like-
up
Stormwater
dark roux
Creek-
gumbo though, because
Stormwater Creek, Texas Mud Boats coot shoot.
So I say we.
It's an
So
event.
I've been wanting to do a scavenger hunt. That's kind of been like one of the new things I want to do at the events. Maybe at Louisville next year is have a scavenger hunt set up. So maybe do like a scavenger hunt coot shoot kind of
Yeah.
deal to where that'd be a fun event.
You
Just
gotta
have
find-
like another
explain.
event.
Everybody bring in everything they shot that day. We'll get a big pot going. Everybody drink for a minute. Give us a couple hours to get some stuff going.
I like it because I mean, look, right now we're doing 3 events a year, and people are asking like even now, like,
That's
dude,
fun.
when we do the next
That's
one, I'm
cool.
like, man. So like we did Destin, Florida this
I was
year.
about to say,
like,
did we talk about
Destin,
Crab
that's crazy.
Island?
I haven't
Crab
heard.
Island
Crab
was
Island.
wicked. That was talk about turning some heads. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
rolling
this year
out.
was the first year. Unfortunately, I didn't get to make it. Nick made it down there. I was very, very jealous. Crab Island is a place I've been wanting to go for a long time. Just the trip out there, I feel like would be a blast. Then getting to run the mud boats through some crystal clear water.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
it's
think,
so
something
close
about
to
it.
Louisiana too. Like it was really fun because we have some members that are out in Tennessee and like that whole area, Kentucky, and they were able to come down for that event. So it kind of got
Grease
some
your
of those
hubs
East,
first.
East Coast guys out there.
But not too much.
But like so, like right now our big one we got Louisville, we got Crab Island every year, and Caddo's the mecca. But I would like to add maybe a grapevine run.
Problem with grapevine hunting is
There's
though
not
there's
coots.
there's
It's not prime coot country.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I've seen way more coot on Louisville.
Yeah.
Bust some coot.
Oh,
But-
I've seen them there yet too.
Way more coot on Louisville.
So we'll talk about it. We'll
but
figure out.
grapevine, you can't just hunt it. You can't just roll
Scavenger
in and
hunt,
hunt
coot
grapevine.
shoot.
It's
You
there's
gotta have a
limited
Yeah,
license,
you gotta have
limited
a permit.
tag.
I
Limited
believe
permit.
it's a free permit, but you have to go get it. They only give so many out. Same
Yeah,
for
there's
Louisville.
500.
I really don't
500
want
and
to talk about it
750.
because every year it's
Really?
harder and harder to get one of these permits.
Yeah.
But Yeah, they give out like 600 permits per year.
We should do it at a
for
different lake,
Lake
like
Louisville.
Tawakoni.
Yeah.
Like
Dude.
legitimately
So,
Tawakoni.
one of the things I found.
There's a ton of
Joe Pool
there's a
Lake,
ton of
yeah.
kudo.
Well, I
in Tawakoni.
found with these
Oh,
events.
you get out of East Texas.
There's a lot of lakes I'd love to run and do these events on, but the problem is lodging, right?
Yeah.
So everybody goes, everybody has a good time. I don't want people drinking and driving,
Yeah.
trailer and boats. So technically, I mean, ideally, if we could have a lake where there's houses on it, at least Airbnbs or hotels close,
Or at
that's
least
the
a
most-
house to dump boats at.
Yeah, I mean that's the most ideal situation. So that's why
Alright.
Caddo works out great. Lewis works great. So y'all have any ideas? Anybody listen? Drop a comment on Stormwater and let us know because
We'd love to help with that too.
We're all
I agree.
ears. So
Yeah.
we do a Stormwater, Texas mud boat, coot shoot, and scavenger hunt. It'd be a cool
Yeah.
deal.
Totally.
Word.
Yeah. That'd be,
We should make
that'd
it
be
happen.
awesome.
Yeah.
Late season, once everybody's kind of shot their
Dude,
wad,
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
the lake that I was talking about,
Holy,
the,
that'd be
the
fun.
three of us went at,
I'd be happy to. I wouldn't even hunt. I'd cook.
and no, not that
no
lake.
problem. No problem.
The lake that the three of us went out to, that there's a big campground at the
Yeah.
boat ramp,
Oh my God.
and there were billions of coot out there.
Legitimately, we ran our boat through
Huh.
rafts of 100 at a time.
Yeah.
What about Texoma?
I'll ask you about that one after we get off here.
Yeah.
Because I might know what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
I thought I knew what I was talking about.
Man,
You know what I'm talking
You
I
do.
don't feel like
Not
I've seen a whole lot of
that one.
coot on Texoma, but I haven't spent a whole lot of time on Texoma.
Me neither.
Have y'all gotten out in the red and seen like what's
We have a lot
we
of
hear
buddies.
wonderful things. But,
Yeah, we hear great things about the whole.
but we
red.
shouldn't bust that up on here.
No.
Yeah.
yeah, nah.
You shouldn't go up
We
there.
won't talk about
No,
spots
stay on
too
White
much.
Rock.
Stay on White Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White
Joe
Rock,
Pool,
man.
Bachman
White
Lake.
Rock.
Birds
Bachman.
and 13-pound bass.
Yeah.
Hey, I caught a 5-pounder off at Bachman one time.
Shit.
You should see, you should see with the joggers.
Bachman turn her over to
And
her.
then you
Joggers
got
give you looks.
and
Sorry,
then you
on
got
the dive,
shanked
you
by a
whipped out a
crack,
fish,
crackhead.
slapping on the ground and everything, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you got a big fish!" And I'm like, "That's all I catch." Yeah.
I
That's all
stick with
I
my dirty
catch.
ghetto pond, Lake Cliff, man.
Yeah.
He's got some monsters of the lake cliff.
Kind of monster out of a
It's a
shopping cart.
monster.
No, I get caught up in this. There's one other spot, it's Fish Trap Lake.
Fish trap.
And I'll-
Prosper.
No, this is in like, I guess you would.
Fish Trap
Maybe it's
Road.
West Dallas. And
Born and
there's nothing
raised
but
on the
shopping
playground.
carts,
Very
and I've seen
interesting.
dudes
Those are my
pull.
days.
There's one dude I was on
Chilling
Fish
up,
Brain.
relaxing,
I followed him
relaxing,
for a little bit,
doing
but
all
I
shooting
saw
some
him out there
b-ball
fishing once.
outside of the
He
school.
pulled like a
couple of
13-pound
guys
bass out
were
one
real
day,
good.
went back
Started
the next
making
day and
trouble in
caught
the
like an
neighborhood.
11-pound bass.
Got in one little fight. My mom got
What
scared.
happened
She
right now?
said, "Your auntie and uncle took
All
the
right,
lair."
this is the sign that we have to end now.
I was trying to keep it subtle as a
sorry.
soundtrack.
I was into it.
So, but that spot's been. They have a fishing pier or fishing dock there that's just run down and shit. I mean, it's fucking filthy over there, and there's shopping carts everywhere. So I think the last few times, I think I got hung up like 3 times in a row. So I won't go there anymore.
Probably $15, $20 worth of bait.
Hanging
Stuck
off
to a
Bait, yeah, there's $15
Walmart
worth
shopping
of bait in
cart.
there. I caught 13-pound bass. Sure did.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
Thank you
Hell
all for
yes.
listening to the Stormwater Creek podcast.
Yeah, I think this is
This
done.
is it. We're done. You need.
Thank
if you
you
want
all.
to see more of
This
this,
is
obviously
your
one that
first
might have
time.
to be a
This isn't
second.
your last time.
Well, thank you
By
guys
any
for having
means.
us
You
out.
guys
You guys
have
know
the open invite.
Yeah.
Nick,
Yeah.
Cody, thank you both so much.
Instagram, Facebook.
Shameless self-plug right now.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, come check us out. Our biggest runs are in summertime. We don't do a whole lot in the duck season, but sounds like we're going to be doing a scavenger coot shoot with the Stormwater Creek boys, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, come on out, support us, help support the GCLA and Delta Waterfowl, and give back to the duck hunting community.
That's
Word.
awesome.
Yeah. Appreciate
Thanks,
it,
guys.
boys.
Thank you guys so much.
Stormwater Creek.
Thank you all for everything.
Storm
I appreciate
drain
you having us
out.
out.
Storm Drain, unite.
Storm drain.
Thanks, guys, for listening.
Stormwater Creek is the best. Grinch, the captain. Aim, the helper. Jordan, the problem solver. I hope you like Stormwater Creek. Storm